I only got one of them.
We are back. We're going to let everybody join, and we're going to get started.
What's up, y'all? We're here. We're back. We're hanging out, waiting for a couple more people to jump on before we get into what we're going to be talking about tonight. We have a couple exciting things to talk about tonight.
And a major announcement.
Major announcement. Possibly a world first.
It is a world first. It's an absolute world first.
Like, dead ass serious. World first. We're not even joking. So hit that like button, hit that share button. Let's get the message out to some more peoples. Come on.
When are we calling in our buddy?
I gotta send him the look.
All right. Does he have his email?
What's her name on 7:30?
Is that a what?
7:30.
Yeah, 7:30. Just or something like that.
What's up, Little John?
What's up, Little John? It's gonna restart.
The song is going to restart. No, let's go to the next song. It sounds like Randy Orton's intro in WWE for a second.
Oh my God.
This is definitely like if you go to watch Maryland Championship Wrestling, like some dude's coming out to this song, he's going to shotgun a PBR, and they get pinned in about 5 seconds.
Oh, shoot. What's up, Lloyd?
What's up, Lloyd?
See you
what's
tomorrow,
up, brother?
Lloyd.
Let's see, where's the tiny...
I need Miles to hit me back up so we can figure out what the hell we're doing tomorrow.
Well, don't go to the Upper Bay.
No, I'm not going there for that reason. If I'm not fishing the tournament, I'm not going to. I was thinking about that. We could do comedy.
What's up, Russ?
Russ, how's it going, man?
What's up, buddy?
Good with Tony. Learn from these guys.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Give us one of them.
Well, the first club tournament was next Saturday, which I won't be able to fish. So I just like going down there this time of year.
I bet you have. Yeah, I mean, is that where the first club tournament is?
Yeah, I won't be able to fish it then. Yeah.
All right.
This went from Godsmack like boy from my dad.
Yeah, no way. I'm down with it, though. What's up, Jim? Jim Fallon in the house. Do us a favor, boys, before we get into this. We have a world first announcement. We're not even joking about that. World mother-freaking first.
Funny.
And hit that like, hit that share button. Come on.
I got a funny story about Jim. So I got a random like spam bot porn friend
Nice.
request on Facebook today.
You forwarded it to Jim?
No, I opened it up. And the only thing I see is one mutual friend, Jim Fallon.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Get some, Jim.
All right, so we got some topics tonight. We're going to be joined by our buddy Matt Downs with Trick Tins. He's going to be joining us at about 7:30. We're going to talk a little bit about the Classic. We're going to talk about Paul's detachable trolling motor. It's a brand new feature. Only comes with the Minn-Kota Ultra X Quest. As a Quest owner, I'm excited and
Custom.
frightened.
You'll always find it on my boat.
Yeah, right. And then we have a big announcement
The custom
tonight.
Minn-Kota Ultrax.
We have a very big announcement tonight. Like Chad said, it is definitely a world first. We are going to have an interview on Sunday. It won't be live, but we're going to have an interview on Sunday with a couple of guys that you may have heard of. I'm not going to say their name quite yet. We will talk about it as a little bit later on the show, but we're going to talk about that. And I think you guys are really going to like that. So we're going to have this interview Sunday. I'm out of town all next week. I'm going to that's a big clue Paul just said. I'm going out of the country for some stuff. So I won't be around next Friday, but Chad's and Paul are gonna help out with the video, and then we're gonna rock and roll.
Gotta get past all that.
That's it right there. That thing looks sick, dude.
Boy, dude, whoa, that is crazy looking.
That does look awesome.
That's sick. I can't even believe this is actually about to happen. Super, super pumped about this. Literally just got off the phone with these fellas about 5 minutes before we're going live right now.
Yep.
And we will give you guys that big announcement here before we go live with Matt Downs.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about the Classic, and then we'll go into our announcement, and then we'll bring in Matt.
Easton Fothergill blows the Classic out on Ray Roberts. Super, super tough conditions. These guys were only catching 4 to 6 bass a day.
And I know there was a lot of talk of canceling multiple days of the tournament because of the winds and stuff like that, too.
They were practicing, one of their practice days, 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It blew, of the 4 days of practice, it blew over 30 on 3 of them.
Damn.
There's a lot of stuff that people don't realize, about this Classic, and it kind of just it fell into the hands of a few people that were able to go out and practice and be able to find fish in those conditions. So Easton Fothergill ends up taking the win. He's 22 years old. He's the second youngest Classic winner ever. He beat KVD's 3-day weight record. He had 75 pounds or something like that.
Wow, that's awesome. What was the big fish of the tournament?
He had an 8 on the last day. I'm not sure if that was the big fish of the tournament, but I know his last fish that he caught with like 5 minutes before he had to leave was an 8-pounder.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Caught interesting, and this is something that I've seen like chit chatted about, like with the little talking heads. The shit stir.
We have to address that, right?
The RBs, we'll say, is everybody going, oh, it's forward facing sonar. You just need one bait. You go out there and you can catch all the fish you want. And
Miles, text me back.
I ain't fishing tomorrow. I ain't even got a boat.
Miles, text me back. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing tomorrow.
So
yeah, you dick face.
What you realize when you start to watch this is how people are adapting different techniques to forward-facing sonar. Everybody thinks it's just going out there and shaking a minnow, and Easton Fothergill was throwing a KVD finesse worm. A Nico rigged KVD finesse worm. Guys were throwing jerk baits. Yeah, poor Jim.
Forward-facing sonar, I will say, has its benefits, but it is not some magical fishing tool.
Tyler Williams throwing a jig.
Killed it. He did he did good throwing his jig.
He was throwing a jig. Greenfish tackle.
He even said before he was going out, he's got like 2 different colors of plastics, or maybe even just one color of plastic, and a bunch of bags mixed up, and he's just going to reach in there, whatever color he grabs, that's what he's going to throw.
So it's really starting to get away from just that, like everybody out here just pinging a minnow to, like, you're starting to see a variety of baits.
Miles says we have Kmart Wi-Fi.
Yes, he does. He loves his jigs. So you're starting to see that variety of baits, coming into play, which I think is really cool. That it's not, it's not even close to what the naysayers make it out to be, of just everybody's out there throwing the same bait. Well, no, they're not. You had the 56 best anglers in the world, essentially, and they were all throwing something different. Even the guys that were solely using forward-facing sonar were all using different baits. And I thought that was something really cool that I took away from watching the Classic. But big shout out to Easton Fothergill. I don't know if you guys know his story. That dude almost died 2 years ago.
Yeah,
had a
something with his brain.
Had a lesion on his brain. Had to have emergency brain surgery.
Wow.
like 3 weeks after emergency brain surgery.
What's going on, Dan?
He wins the college bracket.
Damn.
To qualify for the Classic. Got to fish the Opens this year because of that as well. Won 2 Opens last year.
Where did he win?
He won on Leech Lake, which is his home lake. And he won on... where was that other... I think he won on Eufaula, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I think that was the one that he won. The other one that he won. But so he went from being in a hospital bed, not knowing if he was going to survive, to winning the college bracket, qualifying for the Classic through that for the Classic last year. So this was actually his second Classic.
Morgan Oliver in the house. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, Morgan? Thanks for joining us, man.
Goes to the Opens, wins 2 Opens, wins the Open Angler of the Year, qualifies for the Open or for the Classic this year, and wins the Classic.
It's pretty awesome.
And he had a really bad start to the Elite Series too. He's in like dead last for points.
Wow.
It's
Will
like,
he have qualified
quite a comeback
for the
there.
Classic this year? Like, is he going to fish it next year?
He
Well, he won
the one
it.
that counts.
He
That's that's for sure.
So he won. So yes.
Okay. If he didn't win, would he still qualify?
We don't know.
Oh.
There's still 7 tournaments left.
Well, okay. So let me back up. Did he Did he get into this Classic from the Elites last year or from
the Opens last year?
So he didn't. This is his first year on the Elites. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
So the first 2 tournaments in the Elites, he hasn't done anything.
So the other cool story behind that is one of my favorite anglers on the Elite Series, Carl Jakobsen. Probably my absolute favorite person on the Elite Series. Easton Fothergill winning that second Open is the reason that Carl got to fish the Classic this year, because he double qualified, which gave another spot to the Elite Series guys, and Carl was the first guy out.
Jason in the house. Thanks for joining, brother.
So him winning that second Open got my favorite angler into the Classic, and Carl had a really good Classic too. I think he may have top 10. He made the final day, so he was definitely in the top 25. But he had a really good tournament at the Classic.
Cool.
So, Carl's cool. Carl's a super cool guy.
I would like, and we've all seen it, right, with Easton Fothergill winning, and he's 22 years old, which to me is irrelevant. But a lot of people are talking, forward facing, blah blah blah. Here's the thing, right? We've had this discussion so many times. Everybody has it.
It's time on the water.
Everyone has it.
Is the age not irrelevant? Is the age irrelevant?
I think I
feel
will
like
say,
I see a pattern where I'm not saying that the forward-facing sonar is making anybody better than the next guy, but I do feel as though that some of the younger anglers figure out the different technologies a little bit faster than the guys that are in their 60s.
But what I also see is bass fishing is being treated more as a sport. Professional bass fishing is being treated more as a professional sport by the participants than it ever has before. I mean, you have guys fishing in high school getting full rides to college, fishing in college, and then going in. So if you think about it, before that, he's 22 years old. Before he even got to the Elite Series, he had 4 years of college tournament fishing experience, fishing up against the best young guys in the country. And prior to that, fishing in high school, and in high school fishing is huge in the Midwest.
College fishing is massive now.
What's
College
up, Brian?
fishing was unbelievable.
So you have these guys are being built to be professional anglers from a very, very young age. So even if you look at like, what did Luke Duncan call it? Luke Duncan called it the travel ball parents, where you have like Trey McKinney has the travel ball parents, right?
Oh, he's got
travel ball.
Yeah.
The travel ball parents. They
He's got all the latest and greatest shit.
Professional coaching. They got all the they're going to make sure that they're set.
Makes a difference.
That they're set up. Trey McKinney has been coached to be a professional angler since he was 10 years old.
Yep.
So,
and we could say the same. We could say the same thing about some guys in our area that are really, really good, that have been fishing, that are my age and your age, Chad, that have been fishing for years and started up doing like junior tournaments in this area. I mean, it's not taking anything away from those guys, but it's like
no, so it's giving them all the credit because they've put in the time. Like people don't
put in the time, they put in the effort, and it shows now they're out here as adults, they're fishing, and they produce numbers.
Let me here's where I think a lot of this naysaying comes from, and I'll give you a personal example. Older people don't think younger people should know as much as they do. So a long time ago, me and my best friend, this would have been 15 years ago when we first started fishing the Upper Bay, we figured out there's a certain color crankbait that works really, really well on the Upper Bay. And we figured this out, and we're smashing them, we're smashing fish, catching big fish on it all the time. It's nothing, no, wasn't a special crankbait or anything like that, just a 1.5 square bill, but a specific color. We tell an older person in our club is like, just, kind of shoves us off, because, we were younger, I was at the time, I was 20, 26, 27. 2017 rolls around and he sees Russ Lane throwing that exact same crankbait in the area that we told him to throw it. And all of a sudden he goes out and buys 10 of them.
Yeah.
And so there's no, from an older generation to a younger generation, I'm not saying it's everyone in the older generation, but they have, there's a lack of respect for younger people in general. And I think that's where a lot of this comes from. Where they think, because they're young, they don't deserve to be there, and they don't. There's no way that they're that young and they have this knowledge because I'm 50 years old and I don't know that much.
I think adaptability to changing technology also plays a factor in this. Like here's an example.
It definitely doesn't hurt.
This is an example of fishing, but it's like my mom. I love you, Mom. Still doesn't understand how to use the smart TV remote. She's been watching TV her whole entire life. Just the young kids can pick that up and blah, 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 blah. They understand how to use the TV remote.
Here's what I think though. I don't think the technology matters. If they didn't have the technology, even if they didn't have that technology when they were younger, the passion that they have to be where they are,
to be the best,
is still going. They're still going. Those people are still going to be there,
right?
Because
I agree.
It's not like, who was it? One of the guys that won the college bracket was talking about what it means, and once that college bracket, a lot of the reason that you see some of the skills being taught, work being put in from a young age will likely improve. Yeah, exactly.
Make you better than average in any sport. It is totally obscene to blame someone for effort put in and skills learned, especially if they haven't put the effort in to learn it.
Right. And knocking someone because their parents were in a financial position to support them is kind of bullshit too. Like it's, you didn't have that same thing, but that's not a reason to bring someone down.
Well, they got that privilege card.
So one of the guys that won the bracket championship said, "Look, the reason that you look at the Elite Series and look at the young guys that are on the Elite Series, college bracket champion, John Garrett, college bracket champion, Tucker Smith, college bracket champion, Logan Parks, college bracket champion.
Wasn't Cody Huff one too?
Cody Huff, college bracket champion.
Right.
Once they get to the Classic through that, they're all in because then they realize it just gives them that." No. We're not talking about McKinney. We're talking about Easton Fothergill.
Jim's comment. I think also that is older anglers had it different when we started. We didn't have all the tech or the equipment. We were walking the bank, jumping fences. Cheap gear fishing wasn't really a sport like it is now. Right. I suck at video games too. Still to this day, they have a great advantage to get ahead. It's like all sports now. Good for them. Tommy Walker, thanks for joining, buddy. How you doing, man?
I mean, and the other thing too is just the access to information is so much better.
And you could say the same thing with sports too. I mean, like when I was playing baseball in high school and a little bit in college, it was like there were guys that you could tell that there were guys that were just, that was their thing. Like 12 months a year was baseball. Right. Like you played full seasons in the spring with high school, then you played a full season in the summer with your summer ball, and then you played a full season in the fall. And in the winter they lifted. Like I didn't. I wish I would have. They lifted.
And hit the batting cages.
They went to the batting cages. They lifted. They had a trainer, and it was all that shit matters, man. And like one of my buddies, he just got traded to.
What's going on, Sam? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Thomas, breaking news: as you get older, things change.
One of my buddies, who was playing for the Blue Jays the last couple of years, just got traded to the Pirates. He's a great example. I mean, me and him, we played.
Is it Paul Skeens?
No, it's my buddy Spencer. My buddy Spencer Horowitz. We went to high school together. Me and him played varsity all 4 years together, and he was always a very, very good player. But the big difference with him is he put the work in, man. Like, and I give him all the credit in the world, because I would walk past every time I walked past the gym in high school when we weren't in season, he was in there.
Look,
I wasn't.
These kids don't, they don't just randomly land on the biggest fish in the lake.
Yeah, I agree, Josh. I agree. I don't follow skateboarding too close. We had Tom Sr.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Tom Sr. and Tommy Walker. Glad you guys are doing okay. That's good to hear. The fishing season is upon us. You got to get that cover off your boat over there, Tom Sr. Time to go fishing.
No comment, Lloyd. But to what Josh said, like, he's absolutely right. A 16-year-old now would shit all over Tony Hawk.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, they're doing stuff that Tony Hawk never would have dreamed about doing.
Yeah.
Well, and it's because like as a we're so much smarter. Like as a population now, it's crazy. Well,
you learn from experience.
I don't even know what it is about
skateboarding
that these guys are making it better. I just think that young kids are just willing to go bigger at this point now.
Yeah.
Like they know that things are possible that these guys didn't. Like Bucky Lasek and Bob Burnquist and Tony didn't know were even possible at the time.
Right.
I mean, I remember when it was just, like the biggest deal in the world when Tony Hawk landed that 900 in the best trick competition.
That's like
it was actually after the best trick competition, but
was it?
Now a 900 is like a standard. That's like a standard like vert move.
Right.
Like that's a standard vert trick.
Yeah. Prayers out to your dad, Tommy. Absolutely praying for him every day.
So
it's the younger generation is always going to push the envelope of what is the norm in the older generation. It doesn't matter if it's fishing, baseball, football. I mean, look at some of these football players that are coming out. You got defensive linemen running 4.540s.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's stupid.
Well, the science behind all these sports has really propelled it. I mean, and fishing's no exception. Fishing's no exception at all. I mean, it's no different. It's no wonder these guys are catching stuff. I mean, even take forward-facing sonar completely out of the question. Think about how much better rods are now than they were 10, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. Lines,
rods,
baits,
like reels,
right? Everything.
Being able to cast. Take a reel from 15 years ago and compare it to a new Shimano or new Daiwa now.
Right.
The castability is just immense. So like technology is everywhere throughout the sport.
So before we bring, we're sending our link to our buddy Matt Downs right now.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and give the big announcement. Chad, can we screencast to their page?
We can screencast
on Sunday afternoon, and it's not gonna be live, like I said earlier. We're gonna do an interview with these folks. So you're gonna see the screen here in just a second. That's right. We got the guys from Roughneck Boats. They are in the US of A, taking care of some errands, and they're doing some things. These guys are based out of South Africa. I've been working this for a while, and they build a pretty boat, as you guys can see on the screen. So we're going to have a nice interview with them. We're going to pick their brains and learn about what Roughneck Boats is. And I'm actually working a little bit to see if we can get these boats in the States available to you guys that not only want to learn more about them, but maybe want to buy one. So
If-
a little bit down the road, of course, that's not going to happen tomorrow. But if things go well, that's the end goal. But we're going to have a conversation with these guys. They've been awesome to talk to and work with. I started talking with them probably almost 2 months ago now.
Just a couple things to point out about this company coming out of South Africa too, and we're not going to get too deep into it, but the quality of the boat they are able to make because they have different.
So there's different environmental restrictions. So
Exactly.
policies.
like resins and stuff like that. So a lot of the reasons why our boats are so expensive today.
We'll talk about all that.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
I just want to say, like, if anybody follows David Dudley and if they're curious of like what that weird looking boat that he's been running this year is, it's one of these.
Yep.
Insane.
Yeah. So we're very, very, very excited, and it is actually.
It's actually that boat right there is what David Dudley.
So it is the first time anybody in the United States has had an interview with Roughneck Boats, and I don't know that it might be their first interview ever.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a first in the country and maybe a first in the world, but we're really excited to have these guys on. I mean, just looking at these boats, man, I see some influence from other boats. I see like the transom of that has a little bit of Skeeter going on. The front deck's got some Ranger going on, like old, like 520 type of thing.
That boat. One boat is very Ranger.
That thing had the 300
Verado
on it.
That's like that looks like a Stratus in the back.
Yeah. I mean, very, very cool design. Very looking forward to speaking with these guys and even maybe getting a look at some of the boats.
That looks
they have.
absolutely like nothing I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Oh, that boat's fiberglass, by the way. That's one of the big questions that everyone asks is this boat, like when David Dudley posted that boat, it was like, oh, is it glass? It is. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to get into it.
This Zumba man himself. Dude, meniscus looks like a bag of smashed butthole.
Jesus. I guess he's talking about David Dudley.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're really, really excited. So we're going to have this interview on Sunday evening, and then we're going to post it on our page, Facebook and YouTube. So
it will not be live. So if you're looking out for it, it's not going to be a live interview. Just look out for the post on Facebook.
Oh God,
we have music going. What
did you do?
Perfectly timed music. That's how. Oh man, that was like a little intro, like Smash the Glass, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But yeah, so that's what we got coming for you guys. We're really, really excited about it. I'm gonna talk to John Scungio from JCS Marine and see if we can get him to get involved and give us some questions. Josh says, dude, is this the Zona show? No, but that's a good compliment if you got it confused.
Don't say that to Mark.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, we're really pumped about it. It's going to be great. So I think with that, we are going to get our link out to Mr. Matt Downs. And we're going to have him come in here and have some conversations with him and get this rocking and rolling. So, but yeah, we're really, really excited.
While we're waiting for Matt Downs, let's talk about my adventures last weekend.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that.
I now have a custom removable shaft minn-kota Ultrex Quest.
It's a custom removable shaft.
Oh yeah, you can. It's like 360 degree any direction movement.
I like that.
So for anybody who wondered how the shaft on the minn-kota Quest holds up when you're going 4 miles an hour and you hit an immovable object, it snaps in half very quickly.
Bam.
Speaking there's Scott right there. Scott's gonna get me fixed up. Hopefully pretty soon. As soon as my parts get in, I can get my boat up to him. And
I'm almost interested, like with these trolling motors now, they're being so powerful to the point where, like, if it hits, it's going to break. I wonder if we're ever going to see like a breakaway shaft. That way, if something does happen, it doesn't totally trash it. I mean, why?
Mine broke away.
It did unintentionally. But like a design breaking point to where, like, if it does happen, you fix that piece of it, and like you can carry an extra and you put it back together and it's good to go.
Exactly, Josh. It's the 2-piece unlimited rotation model. So hopefully, I'm hoping that all it did was break the shaft and nothing else is damaged, and Mr. Scott Dice can get me fixed up pretty quickly. Like I said, I'm just waiting for some parts to come in. I'm gonna get my boat up there, and hopefully I'll be back on the water soon. I also hit a rock pile that day with the big motor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you're not using it, if you're not hitting shit with your boat, you're not using it. So It's just one of those things where
Morgan,
you're gonna hit stuff.
as hard as I hit this barge,
He hit a barge.
if I had a power pole move, it would have ripped it off the front of the boat. I'm very sure. I mean, I was 4.2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like head on into this. It was under the water, for anybody who's asking. I didn't hit a barge that was like going down the river. It was a sunken barge.
Scott says, "You want me to cobble the old motor guide slip clutch to it?" No, nothing.
I'm
motor
good.
guide.
I'm good. I'm
no
good.
motor guide, please.
I'm good. I just need my shaft. I just need my minn-kota shaft.
Okay.
Fixed.
He wants you to touch his shaft.
I need my shaft. I need my shaft taken care of.
Hey Chad, can I send this link?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Yes. The toilet flushing was a yes. All right, Matt. We just sent it. I sent the link to Matt while you were taking care of business.
I was taking a pee, everybody.
This is a small bladder.
Oh, I totally thought the noise of you flushing the toilet was you blowing it up.
Oh. But you did. So you didn't do any damage to the glass where it's mounted, right?
No.
Cool. I mean, that's
No, it's all
better.
good. I mean, I watched it like I watched it break. Like, I mean, I was standing on the front of the boat and I just I hit and it kind of threw me forward and like I was looking straight down at it and just went pop.
Damn. Was it loud?
Not really. It just crunched. It just went.
So like
it was more
splintered, kind of.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just want to give a shout out to our sponsors and our partners before we get going here. While we have some people on, we want to give a big shout out to UMA Lure Company, the best balsa wood crankbaits on the market. Period. I've thrown these things into the middle of the nastiest laydowns you've ever seen, and they just come right through it. Tyler's really developed a really good crankbait here, and
You know what it doesn't?
honestly, they shine.
You know what it doesn't come through? When it wedges in between two rocks. That I lost a crankbait on Saturday. Made me angry.
Didn't have the old pulley.
What's going on, John?
Got to have the old pulley woolly to go down there and get it out.
It was pretty shallow. I couldn't really get to it.
Yeah. And UMA Lure Company, we got Mobile Auto Services and the Boat Pros with Mr. John Hanson. Thank you for supporting us, John. And they will come to you. Do your cars, your boats, RVs, camping is coming up. Hit them up. Make sure you get your car taken care of. Get them boat service. Get your RV service before you going camping. All that good stuff. That is the ticket. Honestly, like, man, everybody's busy. We're all doing stuff. We're all at work. They'll show up at your work, get that oil change done for you. It doesn't get any better than that.
Before we move on, I just have to. Josh just said, at least you didn't do what a guy in my club did at Champlain and power load your boat with the trolling motor down. Funny story. I almost did that once.
I did it one time. I did it at Kentucky Lake, but I didn't ruin anything.
I was about 3 feet from the trailer when I realized my trolling motor was down
Lenny,
and
Chris,
just slammed
what's
it
going
in
on,
reverse.
boys? John, thanks for joining, brother.
Chris, what's going on?
John, you missed our announcement.
I am not
I
fishing
texted
tomorrow.
him.
Tony's fishing tomorrow. I am not. I'm actually Actually, I am fishing tomorrow, but I'm.
I want to get through this really quick.
Oh, sorry.
Shout out to East Coast IV. East Coast IV. We're getting to the hot times of summer, man. East Coast IV. You can go to East Coast IV in Bell Camp. They have a place in Bell Camp, and they have a couple other locations. If you search East Coast IV, get yourself hooked up to an IV bag. A couple different types of things depending on what you got going on. I know during St. Patrick's Day, they also had like this little sticker thing that you could put on your arm, and it absorbed all the good nutrients and vitamins that help combat a hangover to help you feeling good the next day so that you could get back to work. Also, if you're feeling that sick, they'll come to you, hook you up to an IV bag. You went out to your bachelor party or something like that. You got all hemmed up before your wedding. They'll come get you feeling good before you're going to go get married, before you got to go back to work on Monday. So hit up East Coast IV. I've actually seen them work a couple different times. It's great.
All I heard was fuck, and we went to Ghost.
Yep. Dude, I actually hate the Ghost, man. I really do. I think it's trash.
Yeah.
Bass Munitions Custom Soft Plastics. We appreciate Mr. Larry Payne for sticking with us for pretty much since the beginning. Bass Munitions Soft Plastics, the Holstein worm. It's a crazy drop shot weight, or a drop shot plastic. Using it all the time. Fantastic. Warren Taylor with Tailored Lures, killing it. He's also got some apparel out there right now that looks fantastic. Like his apparel, like his frogs. Hit up Tailored Lures.
So
Chris,
John has a picture he wants to show you, but we're not allowed to show it tonight. But Chad, you know what boat that is.
Oh no, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I would love to fish a tournament on the Potomac tomorrow, but I do not have a boat currently, so I will not be fishing.
You need to get a new phone.
Why?
That is not what that picture looks like.
What do you mean?
That's yellow.
Oh no, it's because I have the eye saver on because I get migraines.
Okay.
So yeah, I broke my trolling motor shaft in half, so I don't have a boat, so I won't be fishing. Oh, what is that?
It's what you think it is. Just don't say it out loud.
Oh, what is that?
I can't wait for the reveal for that one.
Dude, JCS Marine does some of the most top-notch work that I
100%.
have ever seen restoring boats. And then also our buddy Matt Downs with Trick Tins has been getting into putting lids on some of these fiberglass units when their freaking lids get all worn out and just making a good boat, putting new carpet down on them or new foam, and just having a very, very solid option to go to. We have some of the best people in the business to talk to all the time, and we love it.
That's what I told him. At least now you can get a decent trolling motor.
Yeah, I did. I
Chris
don't like
says,
the ghost.
send me a message. This is top secret, Chris. Top secret.
Top secret. It better not be my boat. I told John not to send, I trolled not to send me picture. I can't fucking read tonight.
Yeah, I know. It's got this freaking stupid thing here that I gotta get rid of. But nobody's sending you any pictures.
Unless it's of someone's wiener. I might do that.
I'll send him one.
But anyway, so oh yeah, one thing for you, Josh. I've almost officially begun my welding escapade, which is probably going to end in me getting burns, but it's okay. I want to learn how to weld. I'm going to weld some shit on my 12 valve.
Are you doing stick, MIG?
I have a MIG welder right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just to weld body panels on my rusted ass truck.
Harbor Freight or
my uncle got it from Harbor Freight, and he's letting me use it.
what is it? A Hobart?
No, it's a Chicago Electric.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they don't sell Hobart. Hobart is way too high quality for Harbor Freight.
I thought they sold a Hobart at Harbor.
Let's be honest. Harbor Freight's where you go to buy tools that you use or that you're going to use like
if
maybe
it's
3
not
times.
Lincoln or Miller, it's Harbor Freight, in my opinion.
Oh, Matt's on. Are we ready?
Yay!
Hey, check it out.
I'll be down in Maryland for Easter.
Yeah, dude. Hit us up.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely hit us up.
If you want to go fishing while you're down here, just let us
hell
know.
yeah. Definitely got to hang out with Josh. Josh, it would be nice if we could time this to get you down here and get you on the show, brother.
We can.
Ooh, we should do that.
We can definitely get you out on some tidal water.
Mm-hmm.
Chris
For sure.
sent 4 photos. Let's see what Chris sent
Easter's
us.
a good time to catch a big one. That is a tarpon.
Wow, that is a big tarpon.
It's a pink snapper.
That is a big tarpon. We're going to go over here and we're going to look at Chris's photos. Check it out.
Cool.
That's
That's
a
a big
nice tarpon. Is that a Virginia tarpon?
Oh, there you go.
Oh. Are we going backwards? Yes. Holy crap, that's a big fish.
That's pretty awesome.
He said that's a baby.
Nice
On
little
the peak-
peacock bass.
That's a good looking peacock bass.
Yeah.
It's got the old little chrome dome right there going on. I like it. Why
Josh-
do they have that lump on top of their heads?
I don't know. Just something that they get.
What if it's like an infection from like a bird injury
No.
or something? Oh,
No,
it's just a
that's
thing?
not- yeah, that's a
Oh,
thing
wow.
on peacock
What if
bass.
it's so they can communicate with Aquaman?
That's
probably
that
it.
makes sense.
Hey, doubled up.
Very
Double up,
cool.
double up, double up. Like
Cool.
it. And then this one is obviously freaking. I
If I
think
lived
that was,
in
this was
Florida-
basically almost a 7.5 or 8 pound smallmouth on one of the Fish Everything glides, which I still like this picture because it's cool.
He said it's a spawning thing.
Oh, really? Wow. Cool. Well, we're going to
But-
bring in Matt.
We're gonna bring in Matt. Oh, here we go.
Dude, Matt has his own intro music.
I don't know why it does that.
I don't know.
That's great.
But Matt has
Anyways,
intro music. That's pretty cool.
Is it
Let's
set to-
bring Matt on. Come on.
What's
Go ahead,
going on, man?
Tom. Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, we got
sir.
you loud and clear.
All right, cool. This is my buddy over here, Sham.
Did you say
came here from-
Sham or Shane?
Sham
Sham.
for real. That's his tag. Yeah, that's what he goes by. But He's from Georgia.
What's going on?
He came in. We're doing a little tag team on this bona fide XTR 130. I don't know if you guys do kayak fishing. I'm not really into it, but it's pretty crazy, man. There's a lot of big tournament scene up in his area for kayak fishing and electrical only type stuff. So got a guy that wanted us to rig this thing out for him. It's pretty cool little boat though.
That is a massive kayak.
Where's
Yeah,
Jason?
I'm gonna let you guys check this thing out.
They have a front deck you can stand on.
That's insane.
How long is that thing? What's it, like a 16-foot kayak or something?
It's 14 foot,
Wow.
and it's got a 40-inch deck across here. He's running this motor guide, the XI3, up on front. We basically just did all the rigging on it last night. I'm building a custom trailer for it. But yeah, this is Sham has the same one. He runs the same one as this, and he said it's super sturdy, man.
I mean, it almost looks like you could put 2 people on that.
I love how it has just like a regular bass
Take the
seat.
front hatch off and get 2 people on it.
What'd you say, Sham?
So you can take this right here, the front hatch. You can take this off, and another seat can go right here in the front.
I got you.
So
So
you
that's,
can
Damn,
put 2
wow.
people on it.
Turns it
Yeah,
into
you
like
just
a
take this
pond
off,
prowler.
and the seat goes right here.
yeah, I guess it. Yeah,
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
yeah, it bolts in like that. So I mean, technically, it's a 2-person kayak. Pretty neat.
Wow.
3 horsepower electric motor on the back. 55-pound motor guide on the front, running the live sonar. Pretty much everything you'll need. You know, they got the foot steering and these things like real smooth. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can steer with that.
So,
Are you
why
using
two? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Paul.
So I was curious because I saw somebody else with the motor guide on the front. Are you using the detachable foot pedal for live sonar, or are you steering it with a remote?
no, so the live sonar, it has a a pole.
Oh
like
yeah,
some
yeah,
boat
yeah.
have.
Okay, you're doing it on the pole. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the pole.
I saw a guy who had it on his trolling motor on the front of his kayak, and I was just curious, like how, because doing it with your hand while you're trying to fish just sucks.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
harder.
But if I get, if I could get a foot pedal on a kayak, and I'd be down. That'd be cool.
Yeah, this thing is pretty cool. This Newport 3 horsepower electric thing, and it's got the foot pedals so you can turn. It's like a foot peg on either side. You push this one up or that one, vice versa, to move it side to side. And it's got a controller box for it right here. Pretty neat for a little electric outboard for a kayak like this, man. I think probably push this thing pretty fast, 3 horsepower.
How fast does that trolling motor propel this thing?
How fast you go with that trolling motor?
With the trolling motor, you might get like 2.5, 3 miles with just the motor guide on the front with that 55-pound. With the NK300, that's a 3 horsepower, so you get about like 7 to 8 miles.
Wow.
That's
rolling.
rolling. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good for a kayak.
I mean, does
Yeah.
that thing have a live well? That's like the only thing it's missing at this point.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, some guys I've seen them where they put like the coolers in the back and do their own DIY thing, but you don't really want to put all that in the kayak.
No.
Right. So
Not
I'm
necessary.
curious as to why. I think it's cool as hell, but I'm just curious as to why the 2 trolling motors, because I don't ever think I've seen a kayak with 2. We've always seen some guys have the trolling motor like kind of in the middle, like how Jason's is set up. So it's interesting to see a trolling motor with one in the or a kayak with a motor in the back and then one in the front too. So and I'm assuming that runs different batteries too, right? You got a battery for your rear troller,
Yeah,
and then
so
okay, cool.
But the one in the back is like a 36-volt battery, and then the front one is like a regular 12-volt. But the reason we run 2, most of the tournaments, they allow dual motors for them, and we usually use like the back motor to get to our spot, and then once we get there, we'll fish with the front motor.
Okay.
So what kind of batteries are you guys using for that?
That was going to be my next question. What are you guys running for power?
This is the 36 volt. What brand is that?
Time USB.
Okay, that's a Lifetime
Time USB.
Time USB. Okay.
Okay.
We got a Time USB in the back, and then up front, he's got 2 Lifetimes.
Okay.
This is just a small 45 amp one. That's for all the electronics, and then he's got another. That's what is that? A mini?
Yeah, that's the Lifetime 100 amp mini. Bluetooth.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. That thing's pretty cool. smaller than the regular battery, but it's still a 12-volt, 100 amp hour.
But it's going to go up here in the front.
Yeah, both of them fit in this custom tray that I made in here for this rig.
How do you guys?
It's pretty neat.
How do you guys like the? Now I don't know anything about the USB battery, but we've heard better and better things about the lie times. What's the price point on that USB?
The USB, it's really close to like the lifetime prices. So for that 38-volt battery, it's like $300. The lifetime is close to $300 for like a 36-volt. But the lifetime, they have good warranty. I think they're like 5 or 6 years on warranty. I've been running mine for 2.5 years now, no issue. So it just depends, on the brand. But most of them, they're getting better with the lithiums,
Right.
with the quality of.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're all similar, man. It's pretty cool. We got a little push panel, like a push button controls and stuff in here. It's pretty neat. All of these Bonafide, the XTRs, they come with the CNC router turf in the floor of them and up on the deck.
That's sweet.
Does it come with the EVA or did you guys add that?
No, it comes with that. That's what I was saying. It comes with that. It's got the XTR logo up in the front here.
It's the camera.
Yeah, and we just put that in the bottom for the tray. But the main reason that he came here to see me was to build a trailer for this thing. He wanted a custom trailer. Check this thing out. I just built this today. The kids got their bikes and shit all over it, but yeah, I built this top on here. This thing's crazy. It's basically,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just set up with on the side. I'm getting ready to paint this, but these two side pipes are basically for him to have like a rod tube sleeve up on the top here.
Very cool.
And then you can have a tackle storage box or something on the side of that. I don't know. It's pretty neat. It turned out pretty good.
So speaking of rods, like on that kayak, where are you storing your rods on that thing? Are you like, are they sticking up in the back or like, are they laying them on? Because I mean, that's a pretty wide kayak.
I'm sure they're in the back.
No, I'll show you. He's got a mount for that. He was asking about the rod mount.
Oh, the rod mount. Yeah. So
They like hang off the side.
yeah, so they go, just hang off like that, and you can angle them any kind of way, and you can pretty much get like 3 going in each direction, so you can get 6 rods on it.
Cool.
That is so cool, and they're like parallel with the kayak, so they're not sticking up in the back like
hitting every tree
yeah,
branch.
So you can actually angle them any way you want, like how you want them, or low, how far you want it to go over. You can really do it however it's comfortable for you.
Because I'm used to the behind the seat sticking straight up, and
this is like
watching if you got to go under trees and stuff.
Yeah, this like
that makes a difference.
So that's a game changer, being able to put them on the side. You can cast anyway without nothing behind you.
Right.
That's real cool to have it like that.
Yeah, that's super cool. I like that.
When we were down to Anna and I would talk to Jason, that was one of the questions I had. I was like, how do you not hook the rods that are behind you all the time when you're casting?
Yeah. Only thing about this size kayak is got to be trailered because it's so big. It's literally like a jumbo.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. 14 feet long. I mean, that's hanging, 8 feet out of my bed.
Yeah.
It's almost like, what is it, 175 pounds dry weight?
Yeah, 170 dry, nothing in it. 170.
Oh yeah,
So
I ain't picking that thing. I'm putting it in my truck.
That's pretty heavy for a kayak.
That's basically that's a boat. That's not a kayak anymore.
Yeah.
That's a boat.
So how shallow can you run this thing with that motor? Like, I mean, could you paddle this if you really had to?
If you had to, if you was in that situation, you could paddle it. And what I would do, just let this front motor up, and that back motor, it kicks up. So like if you run shallow, the motor will kick up in the back. So you can probably get 2-3 feet with just the back motor on.
Yeah, it probably runs shallower than that.
Probably.
You probably get that thing in a foot of water, or less than that.
It could. Yeah.
Yeah, it does stick down pretty far, but
You can adjust the height on it too.
I got you. You can definitely paddle this thing if you had to paddle it, though. But with all this stuff, I don't think you need to paddle it.
No. Mm-mm.
I'm
But
not
I
sure
can
if
get
I
down
missed
with
it
it.
while I was gone. Who did your foam work? The foam looks really, really nice in that unit.
Came with it.
It came with it.
It's
Came
stock.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They got three. What do they got? 3 different color models of this boat? You said there's 3 different models?
3 different colors. They come in this camo color, a gray color, and blue. And one more color, it's like an olive green color. But this is the best color that I like, this one, the camo.
Oh,
So they
12
all have different
12.
colors, and the different colors come with different color scheme for the turf too.
That's
It's
cool.
pretty
man.
neat.
It looks really nice. It looks. I mean, honestly, when you first joined on, I was like, is this a John boat? I was like, yeah, that's big.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
a setup. To rig it out just like it is, you probably spend about 10 to 11 grand on just rigging it like this. Now that's on the low end. They can get up to 15 grand on rigging these things.
I mean, yeah, they like electronics. You know how electronics are. You can spend 10 grand in electronics in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
I mean you look at two 12-inch units, live scope, with black box. That's that's $8,500 right there.
Is that
Yeah.
is that particular model of the trolling motor? Is that remote control only, or do you have a foot pedal that'll come back to you?
For
For
which one? The
the
motor
front.
guy? Yeah, I got this same motor and I use a foot pedal right there.
Okay.
You got a
all right.
recessed tray anywhere?
No, I just
Oh,
leave
I
it
got
free.
Yeah.
It's like the like flat foot pedal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's got
Kinda
the
like
key
your-
fob, obviously.
Kind of like yours on the John boat.
Like the Tarova almost. Yeah.
Like I stand up there and I just use the foot pedal and fish like hands free.
And that one got a spotlight on it.
Yeah, spotlight and all that.
When you're standing on the front of that unit, what's the stability like?
For me, it's stable. I'm 110 pounds. So I don't do it no justice to, in explaining it, but it's bigger guys that use this kayak. If you guys ever follow like Chad Hoover or Jane Jensen, Fluke Master, he uses the same kayak, and those are big boys, and they stand up there fishing. So I mean, it's pretty stable, man. It's real stable, actually.
And,
Yeah.
So we have a question here. What is the ultimate draw to this kayak? Is it kayak specific tournaments, or is it kind of what you're fishing on your home water?
So for something like this, it's usually guys who get this kind of setup. It's like tournament guys, real serious about the tournament. It's not like the boat for somebody who just want to go out every now and then and kayak fish. So,
Jason, our buddy Jason, who's big into the kayak scene, says that is a fat man kayak.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. The whole
Yeah,
of
it's
it,
awesome.
I mean, it's kind of like pontoonish, like, so I would think it would be pretty stable, you know?
I was waiting to see a drain plug in the bottom of it.
Yeah, right.
No,
Yeah.
they got the scuppers off.
Yeah, they got the scuppers like all the other kayaks.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
plug
Word. What's the point of that? What does that do?
Lets the water out.
Yeah, it puts the water out.
Yeah, just put the water out.
Some
And even got them up in the front too, but
I've seen some kayaks where they're just open all the time and it just lets water in.
But it's all about neutral buoyancy and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how this is set up. He just has the plugs in there. You don't have to put those in there. It is cool though, man. I mean, with this seat, I might be able to fish out of this thing.
I was gonna say,
Heck
Matt,
yeah.
you look like you're a pretty tall fella.
Yeah, I'm pretty good size, but I think I could handle this, man. This is my type of kayak right here.
I'm telling you, I'm right there with you, man. Like I could fish out of a kayak like that.
That
is-
looks pretty awesome.
That is really
Especially when
badass.
if I don't have to paddle around anywhere, I'm good. Like I could do that.
So one thing that I learned at Lake Anna, talking
Jim
to
Fallon says they are pee holes.
Yeah. One thing that I learned at Lake Anna, talking to Jason and talking to some of those other guys, is like there are different kayaks for different types of kayak fishing. Like one kayak is like built like this one is like you could take this out on the lake or something, whereas you're probably not going to take that into the upper Susquehanna River with all the rocks and stuff like that. Is that accurate?
Right.
Why not?
yeah. So like if you going in the river, this definitely not like a river setup. This is mainly big lake, reservoir type deal. I mean, you can get in the river, but you ain't gonna want to. It's not ideal.
Yeah.
dang dogs making all this racket.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be cool for y'all to check it out, man. It's not every day you get to see a cool kayak like this. So.
Oh, that's definitely one of
a
a
very
kind.
cool kayak.
That's pretty neat.
The rigging on it is awesome. You got the lights, the rod holders on it are very unique. I haven't seen that. It's crazy to me that they have kayaks out there now that have their own front deck.
Yeah,
I think that's wild.
Yeah, it
super
is.
cool.
That's what does it for me. Is that you can get up there and stand up and fish. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's definitely neat.
That's my biggest thing. When I had a kayak for a little while my boat motor was blown up, it was just not being able to standing up and fishing was a pain. And I didn't have like a fancy kayak or anything like this, but I mean I had a decent sized kayak that you could stand up in, but it wasn't motorized.
Yeah.
Like having that trolling motor on there, that makes a world of difference.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I still got a boat stuff.
And the motor on the back.
Right. Now, are there any guys that are putting gas motors, like little gas motors on kayaks like this?
Actually, this one is rated for up to 9 HP gas.
Wow.
motor.
Oh, so you can put like a
9.9.
like a 9.9 on there?
Will that plane?
I bet you that thing would rip.
Well, it'll plane at that point, right? It would
I've
have
seen
to.
some videos of those guys running like 8, 10 horsepower motors on them. Even the ECU upgraded 20s. It's ridiculous thing.
That's crazy.
It's like riding a freaking a surfboard that's going 30 miles an hour.
That
You know what?
is so
I
sick.
bet it looks like, you ever see those there's like
know what you're
guys
talking
those
about.
guys in the Philippines with
Oh, yeah.
with the big diesel motors on the like
Those guys
the,
are doing like 100, they're like, bam, just freaking flying.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
So my
Hey, guys,
question.
I just wanted to pop in real quick. I appreciate y'all having us on. We got to get some stuff going, but I just wanted to say what's up.
Hey, man. Good having you on.
check in
Yeah,
with you guys
thanks for
in a couple
showing
weeks.
us, man.
Good talking to you, man.
Glad you could join, Matt. Appreciate
Yep.
you coming on.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all keep it up. The good work, man. I enjoy the show.
Good
Yeah,
luck,
thanks,
good
buddy.
luck fishing, boys. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks. You guys have a great one.
See y'all later.
Well, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was
Now we got music again. I don't know why.
I wonder if it does it every time we change scenes.
Yeah, try to change scenes again. See what happens.
let's do it.
No, it's just random.
Nope, just random. I have no idea why it does that.
All right,
I'm
then.
not necessarily mad about it though, because it's really hit at the right time a couple
Yeah.
different
It
times.
got- yeah, I know.
So that I saw Jason say so that kayak's 12 feet 7 inches.
That's a big one.
That's a big kayak.
Yeah. I mean, I have a 12-foot John boat too.
So that kayak is the same size as your John boat.
One of them, yeah. My other John boat is a 1436, but my little piece of shit is like 12. Is literally 12 feet even.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think that thing's stable. But I know these kayaks are very stable. I'm sure it takes some getting used to and everything too. So, but yeah, that was pretty cool, man. I was glad to see that. That was pretty neat. I've never seen anything like that. But that's where we're at. The question I was going to ask before they had to get off is like, at what point do you, like, if you want a certain build, at what point do you rule a kayak out and be like, okay, I'm just going to build a John boat?
So so I saw somebody on Instagram the other day.
If they're into the John boat, if they're into the kayak tournaments, you're stuck to the kayak. You know what I mean? If you go to a John boat and you build out a John boat, you're eliminating yourself, in my opinion, from kayak tournaments and most larger size bass fishing tournaments.
Yeah.
So I saw a guy post the other day from down like South Carolina. It was on Instagram, and somebody asked him like he had a $15,000 like kayak build, and somebody commented like $15,000. Why didn't you buy a boat? And he said, here, like, this is why I have a $15,000 kayak and not a boat, because I can go red fishing on the flats in 6 inches of water, or I can go out to Lake Hartwell and dump it in, and I can fish anywhere that I want to and be comfortable in the style of fishing that I want. It doesn't limit him. He can fish bigger lakes. He can fish smaller lakes. He can fish the flats for redfish. It gives him a lot of flexibility. And he said, ultimately, I like fishing from a kayak more than I like fishing from a boat.
Right.
So, I think a lot of it's personal preference.
Josh, I would like to see that John boat build.
I don't know.
I know how much of a good fabricator you are.
Chad,
we've seen your work.
You were correct, but I'm not sure on what.
I think he was talking about the difference between
about
John
the
boats and
the John
kayaks.
boat and
Oh,
the
yeah,
kayak
yeah.
boats.
Yeah, I think John boats are cool, but I do think you're very limited on what you can do. Like as far as what's out there for you to do.
If
like
you're not going to put a 90 on the back of it like Evan does,
or if
it's just like you can't get anywhere, and or
if
all
it's
you
too
care about
choppy
out there,
if you just want to go out and go fishing, like that, and that's all that ever interests you is just going out on the weekends, going fishing, going after work, whatever. Then a John boat might be right for you. But if you are interested in fishing tournaments and that competitive side of it, maybe a kayak is a little bit better, a little bit better route, because there's so many kayak tournaments around now.
Jimmy says, I got 3 John boats for crabbing, kayak for snakes, and Triton for tournaments. Yeah, I mean, a boat is like it's really a tool. It's what you want to do. It's what you're using it for. I mean, if you want to fish tournaments, don't go get a John boat. If you want to fish for snakeheads, go get a kayak. If you want to, go out and fish little backwaters and maybe duck hunt a little bit out of it, yeah, go get a John boat. You're gonna love it. So, did we just get a message?
no.
Yeah, I mean there's plenty of stuff. I mean, from the competitive side, I mean that kayak world is huge right now. Tons of tournaments if you want to get into that.
Well, and I think
price point is a lot less than getting into
the big thing too.
Getting into like boat tournaments. Not that you have to spend a ton of money to get into boat tournaments, but
yeah,
I mean you can buy
some of them can be relatively expensive.
I mean, let's put it this way.
As far as equipment, like I mean, you can you can get a good. You don't have to buy a brand new boat. You can get a used boat. So you can keep the cost down, ish.
Well, let's put it this way. I mean, that boat, he said you could top end that thing 15 grand with everything you want, right? 15 grand is not going to get you a bass boat with everything you want. No. It's going to get you something that's probably a little beat up.
You might be able to get a boat. Say
it's not going to be 21 foot, and if it is, it's not going to have anything on it.
Let's say I did see a 203 for sale in Texas. It was in Texas. It was on the Champion page for $9,500.
Okay, here we go. We did get a message.
With but again, then you got to put your electronics on it, and you can 60 say
Minnesota Vikings. What is this?
Interesting. You're looking
pretty cool,
at
though.
If you want to put, let's say you just want to run 2 units, and you're going to cheap your economy.
We're counting on you, Josh.
2 12-inch units. If you get run the Bass Pro deal, $3,000 plus your live scope, $4,500.
Right.
So you're still looking at you can be in that 15 grand range, in a boat.
It actually looks awesome what he did with
and have
John boat.
And have good electronic. You have
right.
good electronic, 12-inch screens with live scope.
Well, it's like that episode we did a couple months ago when we priced it out. I mean, to get we priced out a newer Triton, a newer Nitro and a new Ranger versus you bought maybe a 202 Champion and you built it. And you're still coming in way under. But even if you're building...
You're coming in at almost half the price.
It's less than that. It's way less than that.
Do you have any idea how much I wanted to buy that Champion and send it to John?
Which one? The Texas, the one in Texas, yeah.
It was a 202. It was $9,500.
Oh, dude, that's the same one. Steve sent that to me. He's like, I should go get this.
Was it the red one?
Yeah, you should.
Was it the red one?
It was red and silver.
Yeah.
It was mostly red though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cherry red.
Had a 225.
Yes. Mariner or something?
I think it was a Johnson.
Was it? Okay.
We obviously on Bass and Beer Radio, we talk to everybody. We talk to people in the boat industry, brand new. We talk to boat restoration companies and maintenance companies like JCS and whatnot. But
I can't, John.
We can't stress enough that.
And I broke it, and I have to pay to fix it.
We can't stress enough that if you find the boat of your dreams, and it might be not exactly in the shape that you want it to be in, JCS Marine can take any boat of your dreams and turn it into the boat that you never even thought was possible.
Ask me how I know.
Period. Straight up. Ask Tony how he knows. And
I wanted if money wasn't an option, I would buy an old beat up 209 Gambler and set it up there. Just be like,
dude,
all right, call me when it's
Gambler,
done.
Exactly.
Then you can have your 2
Work your
derivatives.
magic, do your thing. Champions, Gamblers, any of it, man. They knock it completely out of the park. And they're going to come in well under spending $80,000.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just I feel like that, John. I feel like that boat needed like re-gelled also. So it looked like it was going to be a lot of work and a lot more money than I want to put into it.
But instead of the gel, if the gel that's there is you could have
I don't want to wrap.
Really?
No.
I don't mind the wrap.
I don't want to wrap.
I like the wrap.
I love mine, but like I think a lot of people when they think of a wrap, they think of like some extravagant thing. It's like you can just put a flat black wrap on it.
I had one requirement to buying a new boat from my wife. It has to be super sparkly.
Oh,
well, you can get a sparkly wrap.
You can't get a sparkly wrap.
Can you do that?
Not like gel coat.
John, can you do that? Is that a thing? Could you guys
can you get
a sparkly wrap?
You can get a sparkly. They make sparkly stickers. It's the same damn thing.
It's not like gel coat.
It would probably look like shit in like a month, though.
Yeah.
No.
Fuck that.
Yeah, maybe with Paul. He runs the shit out of everything.
I mean, I run into barges, so. You know.
Did you mark it? Did you immediately hit waypoint?
I did not.
Oh, that sucks.
I was too worried about getting my trolling motor out of the water that was dangling from the wires.
John says you can get a sparkly wrap.
See,
it doesn't look the same.
It doesn't. There's no way it looks the same.
How
Not
can you
the
tell John
same.
that?
There's no way it looks the same though. It probably looks
There's
cool.
no way that
sparkly like a fairy, like Tinkerbell, little pixie dust.
There's no way that you can get a sparkly wrap as well as you can get a.
We're talking about JCS Marine here. It's faith, trust, and pixie dust.
Wait a minute though.
Oof.
I didn't think that.
I want a wet sanded, perfectly mirror finished.
I thought most champions weren't sparkly though. I thought most
the side of your boat.
I thought most of them were.
I thought most champions were just like that shine, like that, not sparkles, but flake. But they had like yours.
Did you
was
not
white.
see the purple one?
Well,
that you were standing next to?
Oh.
The purple one was pretty.
Don't! You're gonna do things to me right now.
But like I'm thinking about yours. Like yours had that white finish, which looked really
Mine
good.
was white and black on top, and then it had the sparkles
on the side, right? Yeah.
So
okay.
John says bet him.
I don't think
he says Paul's like, I can't. I have to fix my trolling motor.
Right,
first.
I can't make bets right now. I have to fix my boat.
Speaking of which, how long are you? What are we thinking on that? So it's going to Scott. So you have he has the shaft available already.
So right now we're waiting for the shaft to come in before I take the boat up.
Is it warranty?
So the shaft itself is covered under warranty. I got to pay for labor.
Okay.
That's not I don't have to pay for the shaft.
Well, but the shaft is probably north of $1,000. I'm sure. You don't think so?
No.
I feel like that's a pretty good deal considering they're sending you a shaft after you destroyed a barge with it.
No, the barge destroyed me.
Yeah, the barge was laughing. Probably just couldn't hear it.
And that barge, I promise that barge is still there, and I didn't do it.
I heard what you were saying while I took a piss earlier. It's definitely a good thing you didn't have a power pole move on there.
Right, like somebody was saying, it was Morgan Oliver was like, oh, you're gonna have that titanium shaft. I was like, I would have ripped the trolling motor off as fast as
you would have ripped a hole in your fiberglass.
Yeah, I mean, it would have ripped the whole trolling motor off.
Speaking of which, what are you doing about reinforcing the trolling motor on your boat?
So I talked to Bullet 2 weeks ago, and they actually endorse a product from AMP Marine, and it's a wedge, and they say it. So when they like for the new boats, and it's because the Quest is so heavy. So like here's the thing, right? The older boats, well, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Ranger. I don't care if it's Triton. The older boats from back in the late 90s up until probably the 2010s, trolling motors, number one, they were a lot lighter and they weren't nearly as strong.
Yeah, that's for
sure.
So
these boats that were built at that time weren't built to handle an Ultrex Quest. Now, talking to Morgan Oliver's told us he's seen the Quest cause stress cracks in Icons just from how heavy it is and how much torque. Boats. Right. So we're pushing the limits for what the trolling motor is doing to the fiberglass. So Bullet actually called me back and they said, hey, this is a product that we use whenever, because the boats are pretty much built to order. They tell all their customers and their dealers or whatever, if you're putting a Quest on here, if you're putting anything 36 volt that's got spot lock, the power pole mover, whatever, it has to have this wedge on it to reinforce it. And because of the hull design, right, the top cap, it has angles. It levels it out, so it's as much of a leveling tool as it is a reinforcement.
What is the
tool.
weight difference between the Quest and your motor?
So the Quest is heavier than the Ultrex.
The Quest and the
He has
so
the Quest.
what
I have
is
the Quest.
different? What is different about the Quest and the Ultrex Quest that
Well, the
is
Ultrex
making it so much heavier?
Ultrex, well, it's brushless. So whatever, and it's got different components. So it's built. It's just heavier.
Brushless sounds later.
It does
All right. So
sound
put it
like
this way: if I took a toothpick and I
not.
threw it at you at 100 miles an hour, you may not even feel it, right? Unless it sticks in you. But okay, look. I take this brush, this plastic brush, and I threw it at you as hard as I could. You're not going to do anything. It's still moving at 90 miles an hour.
I would be pretty scared because you're big.
Well, if I threw a baseball at you at 90 miles an hour, that's going to hurt. It's the same concept.
Right.
You have so much more force behind, or so much more weight behind the force, it's causing it to do more. Whereas, you know what I mean? So the weight power is a huge part of it.
Well, and it just weighs more. So the Quest weighs about 20 pounds more than the regular Ultrex.
Yes.
Some of that is in the mount. The mount is a lot beefier,
Yeah.
which is good. One, because the Quest, if you put the Quest on the original Ultrex mount, it would rip it to pieces.
Scott's comment. The most ridiculous looking is with the guys with F-350 dualies with tune kits, and they pull up to the shop with 9-foot kayaks behind on a trailer.
That's funny.
Yes, that is funny.
So, yeah. So the mounts, the you know your mount and bracket are heavier. It's got, you know, it's aluminum hinges versus the plastic hinges that were in the old ones. It's just built a lot better and sturdier, and it weighs about 20 pounds more.
So the thing of it is too,
But a
is
lot of
like-
that is in the motor itself.
Yeah.
Because you can ask Mr. Dice when I took my trolling motor up there, or when I picked it up. He looked at me and was like, "Yeah, you can carry that to your truck. I'm not picking that thing up again."
Well, and a lot of it too is like Paul's saying, if the weight's in the actual motor, it's leverage too. I mean, it's no different than working on your car. What do you get when you can't get a nut loose? A breaker bar, right? So you got a 52-inch shaft that's got the most torque on the market. It's also the heaviest motor. When that thing goes, it's going.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Right.
So
you add a
that's the
little
answer
weight
that bullet does is they say, hey, if you're going to use this, put this wedge on. So I got the wedge. I just got to put it on.
Well, yeah. Then if the wedge if the wedge levels you out, all your torque is going straight forward.
Correct.
Instead of torquing it up or down.
Yep. So
Makes sense.
And the thing of it is the way. So when the Ultrex Quest comes out of the box, it has those little rubber bushings, right? And the wedge, what that does is the wedge also takes all the strain off of these little 6-bolt areas where it's locked in. So the wedge it evens out the pressure. So it just helps.
So
Are you
you
still going to reinforce the backside?
Oh yeah, eventually. But just for right now, just to get this on.
Try that out.
Yeah, just to try it. I think it'll be fine. And from everything that I've talked to from the guys like from Morgan and John, they're like, yeah, it's probably fine. It's just it's helpful to have that extra, just so. Yeah. I mean, it's always good to have more than what you need.
So, yeah, for sure.
Before we do get out of here tonight,
And the wedge was only like $100.
you also put your boat in the shop because you found some problems that was with the motor that was, to come with an older motor like that.
The problems we were talking about 2 weeks ago.
Yep. So basically, the diagnosis was it was a continuation of the bleed lines, which is what I had at Anna, right? So they found a couple other bleed lines that were cracked and leaking fuel, so that was causing some pressure issues. And then the high pressure regulator was Dave said it was completely clogged. And he's like, and that would perfectly explain why.
Was that the VST filter?
Yes. And he said that's pretty much why you're not having problems until you get north of like 5,600 RPMs.
Right.
So
That makes sense.
I haven't had a chance to get it out yet. I'm taking it out tomorrow to run the piss out of it.
I will say the funniest text that we got from Tony was when Dave from Premiere apparently took it out to test drove it, and then came back and said, "How the F do you drive this thing?"
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, and
it's like quite obvious he doesn't get to see many bullets.
Well, it was
or
funny
any of those boats
because
come through there like that.
I dropped it off after hours on like a Monday a couple weeks ago, and I called him the next day and I said, "Hey, I don't know when you guys are going to get to take it out, but when you take it out, like you have to like bump, and I mean like 1/1000 on the trim." He's like, oh well, we run the bass boats all the time, and I'm I'm telling you,
can you install
trust
trim
me.
tabs on a bullet?
Gambler has them. I mean,
I know Gambler has them, but can you put them on a bullet?
I mean, you could, but why?
Because Gamblers seem to be a lot stable with them.
Gambler's also not as fast.
It's also your trim tabs are not are more so for like your rough water and stuff. Like I don't think they're using their trim tabs.
Yeah, but if you're running wide open,
When
your trim tabs are all the way
your
up.
boat running correctly, you need to run CJ.
I think when I get it running correctly, I'm gonna have to learn how to drive it more than anything. I mean, I've had it to 70, and it with like it's pulling.
That would be
too.
that. I mean, that would be a good race. Your Bullet and and
I
CJ's
think it
Gambler.
would be good.
Does he have poles and everything on his?
No.
No, he doesn't have poles on it, but he's got the trim tabs, which
He'll run
I
like-
think are going to make a difference in his stability compared to you when you're trying to run.
Well, I mean, a
Well, like
Gambler
you said,
running 80.
when you're
like,
wide open, those trim tabs don't touch anything.
Yeah.
yeah, that whole thing's pretty much out of the water.
When I
He
mean,
can
but
run-
a Gambler doing 80, that's like.
I think he can run. I think he can run 80, like 83. I think he said.
That's right about where I should be with my setup once I get it dialed in. And
I agree.
Right.
Well, considering you've got a lot of weight on the front of that boat,
Mm-hmm.
also compared to CJ.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, if I put a
Well,
move on there, it would be.
Gambler's
better.
also a heavy boat. There,
Yeah.
so
Right.
you got to there's trade offs. So
Yeah.
that would be a good run.
I don't know where the hell we could do it with enough room.
All I know is that
Yeah,
if the
probably.
freaking shootout is this year
Race to
at freaking
race to Aquia.
Yeah.
Was
I'd
it-
have to
was it-
take the. I'd
it
have
was
to take the
Tiki
shit
Lee's.
off.
Tiki-
I would have to take the poles off and the trolling motor, which I would.
Let's run it.
I mean, the pole. The problem with taking the
if you
poles
take
off.
those poles off in that trolling motor, you could potentially run 90.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yes, but not with that gear case. It would anything over 85 with the Torque Master. You're just playing with it.
Well, you only got to
so
do it
we'll
once.
find another lower temporarily, and then we'll sell it off.
You got to find a sporty.
You only got to do it once or twice. What do they got to do?
Hey man, actually, no. What? We'll just put it up on the shelf for next year, so we can just keep on repping that.
You'd have to find the Sport Master because that's the thing. Like the Torque Master over 84, you like the faster you go, you incrementally increase your chance of blowing it out.
John, you're not allowed to come down here for that. Okay. Just take that freaking Bullet with a 225 on it and go 120 miles an hour.
I wonder if he sold that yet.
I don't know
I'm not
actually.
sure.
I know there were some people who didn't understand why that was being sold for the price it was being sold when he posted it on Facebook.
That's
Really?
because that is the nicest 20cc on the planet.
To be honest with you, I didn't think the price was that far out. I
I
didn't
just
think the
said-
price was bad at all.
Well,
Well, it's because people don't realize.
40 grand for a 25-year-old boat is
That's
for-
what they
in a lot of
think.
people in a lot of people's
Yeah.
head. Like that's all they're
Yeah,
thinking
completely
is like,
redone by them and set up properly. That's a freaking fast boat, and the uniqueness of that boat.
But you know what? It's
all,
not.
all
that's
on its
what-
own, that's a center console Bullet.
but that's what people don't understand. People don't understand what that boat is.
Yeah.
Not every 25-year-old boat is going to be a $40,000 boat.
What a beautiful boat that was too. And when I tell you this boat
is,
was light,
yeah.
I'm telling you, you could take your finger underneath the tongue of the trailer and go boop
Yeah.
and pick it up. I mean,
Somebody-
this thing is
Somebody asked like why what makes a 25-year-old what would make me serious quite like the guy wasn't like talking shit or anything. It was like what would make you pay $40,000 for a 25-year-old boat? And I just replied 100-mile-per-hour memories. Yep. And he was like, right on, I can see that.
and more. And more, man. I mean, it's got a fishing platform. Put a trolling motor on the front of it.
Yeah, but
You know,
Put an 80-pound thruster
it's a
on it.
race. It's a race boat.
If you're
I
looking
get
for,
it.
if you're looking at spending, $40,000 on a boat that you want to fish out of, I feel like you can probably there are better platforms.
Well, let's put it this way: you're getting to that fishing hole first.
I put it. I would
you
think
are.
of it like this. I mean, I think that boat is. I think you could fish off of it fine if you're fishing solo most of the time.
Yeah.
Like if you're not fishing with anybody and you're solo most of the time, I think you're gonna be fine.
If you had to put somebody on the back,
Could you
of it,
imagine
you'd be
having-
fishing off the back of that 225?
Could you imagine? You draw one like I drew a co-angler in a tournament one time that was every bit of like 400 pounds in my champion too.
Did you lose like 5 miles an hour?
Well, 7.
You have to put a different prop on
Holy
it.
shit!
You'd almost have to put a different prop on it.
I had no problem. I really didn't have too much of a problem getting on plane. But like I went from like normally running 57, 58 to like 51. And like the just having like him fishing on the back of the boat with him being a big guy, like when he moved to one side of the boat, it about threw me off the front.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't imagine that in that bullet being as light as that bullet is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he stepped from like this side to this side, and you just like get catapulted like into the river.
I will say when I did go to pick it up, the guy Dave, he was like, "Hey man, what's been done to this boat?" I'm like, "Well, why do you ask?" He's like, "Because we opened up the bilge and like this is incredible. Like, clearly this boat's not new, but it looks brand new." And I was like, "Well, yeah, we did everything. I mean,
It's basically brand new.
yeah, it's like top caps off, stringers, transom. I mean, the whole bilge was rebuilt."
Why did we lose the comments?
That's a good question.
Oh yeah, we missed three comments.
They're all coming
Hi,
back
Julie.
at once.
Oh, we got them now.
There we go.
Um,
Trim tabs equals training wheels.
so with this big guy on my boat, it was really rough on the Potomac that day.
KB in the house. What's up, Kyle Barney?
And just the left and right weight. So like I come out of Quantico, and I mean it's rolling like 2.5 3-footers.
Mm-hmm.
I hit the first one, and the boat comes off the top of it and goes honk like on its side.
Damn.
So I had to watch the waves, and when they would crest, and like on the Potomac you don't get like waves all the way across. You'll have like the center of your wave.
Oh.
And then you'll have, it'll slope off to the side. I had hit everyone on the side so that when I came off the back of it, the boat would stay level. Dude, it was I drove the shit out of that boat that day, just to keep it from, losing so much stability, because when I hit that first wave, it just went like this, like to the side.
Wow. Kyle's got some pretty sick builds at his house right now. He's got some stuff that he's just keeping stock, but he's also put a bunch of work
Didn't
into
he put a freaking billet block on his air motor?
He did something freaking crazy to one of the mud motors that he has on there.
Yeah.
It's like a stage 3 kit. It doesn't have a turbo on it, but it's like heads and like all this stuff.
I thought it was like I thought he put like a billet block on it or something. It was crazy.
Kyle, you up in here listening? What'd you do to that boat, brother? I just talked to you about it the other weekend, but I was also drunk at the bar, so I don't remember.
I saw it on his Facebook the one day, and yeah, that looks sick.
Yeah, he's got a really nasty looking freaking build going.
It was very shiny for a mud motor.
Yeah. Shiny for the mud motor,
Lots
and
of
the whole
shinies.
entire boat itself, he's got it like custom painted. It looks really, really nice. Got the foam in it. Yeah. And then he's got a G3 or something that he picked up.
Yeah.
He's got like 3 rigs sitting in his driveway. I'm like, God dang, dude, what are you gonna do with all that?
Beat him up.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta beat him up if you're fishing for the old snakes.
Them old sneaky snakes.
Sneaky snakes.
They like to get in that shallow water.
He's been on them on them tailored lures already.
Yeah.
Tailored lures for Augs. He's caught a couple of them that I've seen.
Yeah, I bet with these warm days, up in them shallows.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind going out and chasing some, but I don't have a boat.
Yeah,
That's a good idea, actually.
You know what makes me want to chase them? When I seen that Conrad's Crabs is getting $10 a pound for fillet.
Damn. It was $19.99.
Really?
Yeah.
They're on $10 a pound.
Oh,
for
that was at
fillet.
Wegmans. Wegmans was whole live snakehead was $19.99 a pound.
Okay.
Or not whole live.
This is
whole
just
snakehead.
for freaking snakehead fillets, not even the whole snakehead.
Yeah, but you would think that would be more because it's processed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Either way, either one of those prices would tickle my pickle and makes me want to go fish for some snakes,
Right.
and sell them to the freaking supermarkets.
Yeah, I mean, you figure they're probably 100% markup. Like if they want to give me $10 a pound for snakehead.
If only back before the numbers started to fall.
Dude, like 5 years ago in the
Oh,
gunpowder,
no.
Dude,
when you could
every
catch
other cast was like a freaking snakehead.
when you
Yeah.
could catch like 20 or 30, like 20
Yeah.
or 30 in like 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Without,
and it was
without
every
leaving
trip.
without leaving the 6 mile an hour zone.
And it was every trip. I mean, it was every trip.
And this conversation inevitably makes me, and we're Bass and Beer Radio. We like talking about bass fishing, but the snakehead around here is very prominent. Sometimes, you can't just keep on talking about different, the same old thing all the time. It's nice to talk about some different stuff. It makes you want to get Kyle or Nick or Tom back on here to talk about some of the snakehead going on. Not to mention, Tom Over is just crushing it right now.
Oh, did you see he got his master angler?
Got a master
Very
angler,
cool.
the 2.2 pound crappie.
Yep.
That's a big ass crappie up here, dude.
Yeah, that's a big crappie.
That's a
came out
big
of Conowingo.
crappie.
There's giant crappie in Conowingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some big ones.
Yeah.
Giant
He's been
game
on some big ones. He's big snakeheads, big bass, catfish. I mean, the guy's caught
Two of
It's just
his
one.
master angler fish were marlin.
I know that's like
marlins.
Yeah, he had a citation white marlin and a citation blue marlin.
Did you catch that in his John boat?
Yes,
yeah.
20 miles offshore.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I would not put it past him. That's the only guy who's put a motor on his boat and then has like 600 freaking hours on it in the first 2 years.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hours on it. Man, that reminds me. I gotta get my 100-hour service done soon.
You're at 100 hours already?
Almost. I think I'm like 80.
I got 70 on mine. 70 hours on mine.
Uh-oh.
Paul sent you a pic. Uh-oh.
He put LOL on it.
Is it
It's
boobies?
always questionable.
That
when
is
it
a
comes from
big
Jim.
tilapia.
We just don't know.
Tilapia. Those things are everywhere
that
in
is
Florida.
huge.
Yeah, that's a giant tilapia.
That's what you eat at McDonald's.
Dude, these things are everywhere in Florida. Everywhere. They're
Did
like
you catch some
bluegills.
when you were down there?
Yeah. They're like bluegills, man. Like you can sight fish down there too, so you'll see like a big shadow. It's like, oh, that's a giant. No, it's a fucking tilapia.
What was that, Jim? That had to be like what, 5 pounds, 5-6 pounds, maybe more.
They get that big?
Oh yeah,
They're massive.
I mean, that's easily 5. It's got to be 5-6 pounds plus.
Did it eat a swim bait?
I don't know if there's a bait in this mouth or not.
It's freaking bullshed glide bait.
We ended up
Chomping on by
foul
the
hooking.
I don't
tilapia.
see any.
We foul hooked most of ours, but we did have a couple that ate. I think a couple ate it like a fluke or something.
I don't see it. There's no bait in the mouth.
I feel like they're like carp around here or something like that.
Oh yeah, Jim
Yeah.
was telling me that his issue that he's had with forward-facing sonar is the tilapia are so big that it's hard to distinguish like what's a bass and what's not because the tilapia are so big down there. We have a big problem. So it's catfish up here. We have so many catfish that sometimes using live scope is difficult.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can be.
Or you can you get into like a school of fish and you catch like a 3-pound smallmouth and then the next 5 fish are catfish.
Right.
But you got to keep fishing them because you caught a 3-pounder out of it.
Yeah. I will say one of the things that I definitely keyed in a lot on last year fishing up above the dam is I started to really figure out, like, I could go to a spot and look at my scope and be like, I bet these are catfish, and catch them and they would be catfish. And then I could go to a spot and be like, oh, those are definitely smallmouth, and they were smallmouth. So and there's been a couple times since then where I've gone to a spot, put the scope on and be like, those aren't bass. And then just turn around. And
Looking
pull
at
out.
looking at the movement, looking at how they react.
A lot of it's just the shape of the fish on the screen.
That comes
too.
with the time of being able
Yeah.
to put it into forward-facing sonar and distinguish between the sizes, the shapes, and the movements of the fish that you're targeting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, learning what what a bass looks like on forward facing is like phenomenally helpful. Because, I mean, I used it enough on Lake Anna this year that I can tell you what a bass looks like. I mean, I put my head down and I literally just used it for 3 days. No matter what. Like I had one day where like I caught one fish doing it, but like I learned what a bass looks like. Like so like I can shine it on a fish and be like, that's not a bass.
Jim
That's a
says
bass.
the fish swim away as soon as the sonar hits them. For 2 people who have been using it very frequently,
They're not bass. That's
Yeah, they're usually not.
So do the bass don't swim away when they get hit with the beam of sonar?
Usually it's bait fish. Usually it's bait fish that are swimming away. Or not. I won't say bait fish, but
Smaller fish.
smaller fish will swim. Will scatter. Like shad scatter a lot. Like you hit shad. Like when you get to a certain distance and that beam hits like a school of shad, you'll see them just go.
The worst thing about live scope is you can see fish on a piece of cover and you'll throw to them and then you end up not catching them, but you pull them all off following your bait and then they don't go right back. So like you could literally set up on like a brush pile or
And
a
once you
rock
pull them
pile.
off, you can't catch them.
Yep. So like, and that's the thing. It's like, that's one thing that me and Miles talk about a lot on Conowingo is like, we always have a 1-2 punch when it comes to that. Like somebody's going to throw one bait because one bait will usually catch the smaller ones and the big fish will follow it. So like he'll throw the bait and then he'll hook up and immediately I'll throw in a slow bait behind it and try to drop it right behind his bait where he's hooked, where he's fighting that fish. And sometimes you will get a better
that's
fish
also
doing that.
and you know detrimental to what Chad likes to fish. That's one of the reasons that like when you're fishing a lot of structure like that, that if you like to throw glide baits where it's a very big negative to throw a glide bait. Because you throw that glide bait up there and you pull them off that structure, when they follow, then they're pretty much uncatchable.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you might as well just leave. Ben Milliken actually talked about that on Toledo Bend.
What makes that the case, though? Why, as soon as they come off that structure to follow something that they're curious about, when they go back, do they just lose interest in it?
Well, they'll go, like, it's just a matter of them going back. Like, are you going to sit there and wait
If
for
they
them?
even do go
Are you going to sit there and wait? You know, it could be 45 minutes before they go back to get back into position, like into feeding position.
So why can't you throw a minnow at them while they're out in the middle?
Like, you could, but, like,
They're not eating.
if they're
not
you know,
feeding.
if they're just kind of swimming around into an area, right? Like they want to be eating here. So let's say this is the rock pile. Like they want to be eating here. And when you draw them off here, now they're not really looking to eat anymore. So they're just kind of meandering until they get back
They've
to line
essentially
up to
left the dinner.
It's like a restaurant.
they've left their
They've
feeding
left
zone.
the dinner table.
Yeah.
They left
It's like
the
a
zone.
restaurant. If you want 5 guys, you're going to
They
go
got
to
up-
5 guys.
They got up to
right?
take a leak. You're not
Yeah.
trying to eat a ham, you know, take a bite of your burger while you're going to take a leak, right?
Yeah. It's
Makes sense.
Yep. But then again, there's some times where, well, I don't know. And the biggest thing I'll say about the scope is once you really start dialing it in, you can look at fish on a spot where you know they like to eat, and you can look at it and be like, they're not going to eat just by how they're set up and how many there are.
You know what's funny? Like I learned how to do that on 2D sonar.
See, I never learned how to do that on 2D sonar, but I did learn how to do it
I had
on
a
the
guy
scope.
when I fished a regional in Tennessee. Really, I learned so much about fishing offshore with him, and we would pull up to a point, and he would idle over the point and look at 2D, and he's like, see how these fish are? They're not set up right. We're going to the next one, and we wouldn't even drop a line. Like you'd see the bass like on 2D, and they weren't set up where he wanted them, and he would just go to the next point. The fish were set up. They they were grouped up. If they were grouped up suspended, like that's where he wanted them. If they were down on the bottom, like he knew he couldn't get them to eat. So knowing how and that was long before facing sonar was out.
That's a long time on the water to figure out those patterns.
That's how those that's how those guys used to do it, though.
He's also a guide on the St. Lawrence, so
Nice.
like he's kind of a hammer up there too. He doesn't really fish tournaments anymore though, that I've seen. Really just does his guide stuff.
Well, that's the thing is like to be a successful fisherman, you almost don't need to fish tournaments anymore. I mean, you could either have a successful
Tournament
social
fishing-
media or a guide
tournament
business.
Tournament fishing is very hard to be successful at.
I mean, I would argue Josh Jones
always has been.
Josh Jones is probably one of the most successful bass anglers around, and he doesn't fish tournaments at all.
As far as like making a living out of it, absolutely.
Right.
I mean 100%. But it's always been that way though. It's never been tournament.
But before it was the only way. Back in like the 90s and stuff, early 2000s.
No, you still had guiding.
Yeah, but it wasn't as much. You know what I mean?
Guiding's still guiding's always been that's your main way to make it in fishing.
But if Josh Jones was catching the same fish he's catching now, 20 years ago, none of us would have ever heard of him. He's got guys flying out of Montana to go fish with him. Because they see the pictures on Facebook.
But he's also like an exception too. He's not he's not like your typical guide, right? Josh Jones is
what's up, Murph? Murph's down at Lake Anna.
100% like for going after your PB, like you're going to have a shot at catching a 12-pounder if you go with him. So he's got he's cornered a very narrow market because there's not a lot of guys out there that can do that. You got him, Kyle Hall. Like Jim said, he's got a buddy that makes 6 figures guiding on headwaters, and you probably have never seen his name on social media, So, guiding's always been like the way to do it, but just like any other job, like now, any other fishing job, like social media or anything like that, you have to put in the work for it.
Right.
You have to go to the shows and get your name out there and get client bases, and you have to provide a good guide experience so that you get repeat customers. A lot of successful guides have, people that
they get a trip with them every year.
Every year, yep. Every single year. On this weekend, I'm going out with Jim, or I'm going out with Tony on this body of water.
Right.
And I had such a good experience, man. I'm going to do this every year. We had a lot of fun. We caught a lot of fish. No matter what anyone says, Josh Jones is a real dude with major talent. Just hearing him on Zaldane's podcast, it really solidified my opinion of him. I don't know. Hearing him on Zaldane's podcast made me think he's a total douche, but I do have a lot of respect for the talent that he has.
I don't know anything about the dude other than it's weird if you don't open Facebook and see a picture of Josh Jones holding a double-digit
Have
fish.
you guys seen Chris recently on anybody else's podcast, or does he just do his own stuff?
I have not seen him recently, and he just started his own stuff again.
The Bills, right?
Yeah.
I hit him up about hanging out on the show.
Did he get back to you?
He opened it.
It's a start, right?
I've had conversations with him in the past.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured maybe we might be able to lead into something, but I do understand he also has his own platform. The Classic was coming up.
$2,000
yada.
$2,000 a day, Jim, for Josh.
Damn.
That is so nuts.
$2,000 for a single day guide trip, which is about 4 times what a normal, like an average guide trip.
Yeah, an average is what, like $400?
$500
yeah.
for an 8-hour trip.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different types of guiding too. People don't understand like all the time. Like
shit, if you can do that freaking 3 or 4 days a week, you're killing it.
Certain people like
don't know John Jones.
Like,
do you know John Jones, Jason?
I know John Jones. I had a dream that John Jones punched me in the face one time.
I bet that hurt.
Jason. I didn't feel it because it was a dream, and then some other weird shit happened.
I feel like here's the thing about guiding. Like guiding isn't just like let's go out and catch your PB. Like guiding is also like, hey, this is what I look for on my graphs. This is how I tune my graphs.
Here's the other thing too with guiding. Like like I said, it's about putting in that work, right? So you have to give your customer the experience that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that might, I know a guy on the Potomac that he said a lot of his clients, if it's a tough day, they are perfectly happy with him casting the rod, hooking the fish, and handing it to him.
$100 an hour, minimum 4 hours. I mean, that's $400 for half a day.
Yeah, a lot of expenses in that though.
So if they want 8 hours, is it $800? Because that's an expensive day on the water.
Yeah, there's a lot of expenses for that guide in that $100.
Well, and the guide also has all the liability. I mean, the guide,
liability, fuel,
mechanical,
rods, baits, insurance,
boat. I mean, that's the big one.
Yeah, boat, truck. Got to be able to pull the boat. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's got he has people that he can just throw a Senko out there, hook or drop shot, hook a fish, hand them the rod, and they're perfect, and they're perfectly happy with that. Like that's their experience that they got to reel in a fish. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those are like more like corporate clients.
Mm-hmm.
I really like watching Austin Neary's video where he took the ghetto fella out that had never caught or held a fish before. Did you see that?
I think I did see that actually.
And he was just freaking out. He caught this 2-pound bass. He's like, ah!
I mean, it's cool.
I don't know, it just geeked me out. Austin comes up with some really, really good content. I like watching Austin Neary's stuff.
There's one YouTuber. I can't remember his name. I don't particularly like him, but I thought it was pretty cool. Like this old guy. This old guy was out fishing, and he's wearing this kid's wearing him out on a crankbait. And this old guy was fishing. He comes up in his John boat, and he's like, man, you are killing him over here. He's like, how many of you caught? And he's like, I've caught 9 or 10. I've only been out here for half hour or whatever. And he's like, man, I've been fishing all day and I ain't caught a single fish. And he's like, dude, get on my. He's like, get on my boat. He hands him a rod and a crankbait and throws out. The dude catches a 6-pounder.
That's pretty awesome.
And he was like,
meanwhile, his boat's just floating away somewhere.
They tied it up.
Yeah.
Tied it up to his boat. Tied it up to his boat. He got in the boat, catches a 5 or 6 pounder, and the smile on that dude's face was just incredible. And that's what, like, to me, like, that's what it's all about.
That's priceless,
you know?
right there. Yeah.
You know, and, you know, if I were to get into guiding, that's what it would be. Like, you know, that's why, I'll boat captain for youth tournaments because that, you know, that kind of, you get that kind of feeling. Like
$120,000 on live bait. How much is it for the shiners down there? God dang.
Between 3 boats? Dang. You know, I boat captain for a youth tournament last year, and, you know, kid had never thrown a drop shot, but we were on Conolingo. Kid never thrown a drop shot before in his life. Didn't know how to rig it up. Nothing. You know, I tried to tell him, like, hey, you're going to need to throw a drop shot for some of these places we're going to fish. We're going to be fishing a little deeper. You know, finally, like, 3/4 of the way through the day, we pull up on one spot, and I catch 2 real quick on a drop shot. And I was like, you ready to throw a drop shot yet? And he's like, yeah, can you show me how to do it? Showed him how the knots that I use, you know, how to rig up the weight, what kind of leader to use. Got him all rigged up, gave him some baits, you know, let him use, I was throwing flatworms, so, like, you know, I always have 30 packs of them in the boat anyway. Got him some baits. He throws out first cast, catches a 2-pounder, which was pretty close to the biggest smallmouth that he's ever caught.
Jason doesn't want to go on a batter's tour.
Nice.
Jason, you can go on a batter's tour anytime you want. All you have to do is call me. Sorry I didn't call you back. I totally forgot. I was in a meeting when you called, and I forgot to call you back.
Josh says, the thing I like about him is he's unapologetically himself. I like his story. It goes from installing cable and leading to being given the first rendition of Live Scope. He knows what he's doing with the technology, and yes, he relies on it to make a living. But there's guys that hand cut parts with a torch and guys that use a CNC plasma cutter. Both have their place, but neither is inferior. He lives his life and knows that, and openly admits he owes it to technology.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a great comparison.
You can't hate it. I mean, you really can't.
No, I don't hate on him at all. I don't hate on his talent for.
Lil John, what's up, buddy?
I don't hate on his talent of fishing at all. He's said some things that I'm not one, I disagree with, and 2, I don't think he has a platform to speak on that subject. But we won't get into that.
I'll call him.
Yeah, let me call him up. Get rid of him up. I have mad respect for the dude though. Like, the dude is the best at what he does.
There is nothing that is out of the realm of possible after we just got off the phone with Roughneck Boats.
Yeah, true. That's true.
I'm trying to get that Swindle interview.
That would be pretty awesome too.
That Matt Robertson interview.
Honestly, I feel like that's completely possible if I can reach them on the proper platform. Because I sent the message to Seth. I sent the message to Matt.
Apparently, you just need to put your Instagram on a McDonald's bag and shove it under his. Did you see that?
No.
He was fishing, and some dude came up to his truck and wrote his Instagram on a piece of McDonald's bag and stuck it under his windshield. And he's like, he was like, look, you're that hard off to get followers, and you actually think that I'm gonna add you, and you leave it? And he turned it around, shares the McDonald's bag. Leave your Instagram on a McDonald's bag? You're absolutely damn right. I'm gonna follow you.
I think honestly, I think Matt and Seth are one of the real ones out there on the Bass Tour, as well as our good friend Matt Herron, who I have also been talking to a little bit here. But I sent them messages on Instagram. I also sent Adrian and Veen messages. None of them have even opened it. So might have to go to Facebook or try to find an email to get to them. But I personally do think that we could speak to Matt or Seth. I think that is a 110% a possibility.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They're also in the middle of the busiest time of their fishing season, so you know what I mean. But
yeah, we can. Maybe we might be able to get some of those guys over the winter, and hopefully we can, because I would love to have. There's a couple of. He does have that West Coast attitude. I don't even think it's like I don't really think that's like a West Coast attitude, because I'm thinking. So when I think of West Coast attitude, especially when it comes to anglers, like I'm thinking of, Aaron Martins. I'm thinking of Justin Lucas. I'm thinking of John Murray, and they're all like Brent Ayler. Like, they're all just like super like chill, down to earth guys.
Josh says, as Maryland guys, you'll appreciate this. one thing led to another, and I ended up spending last Sunday with Jared Mayo.
Who's Jared Mayo?
I don't know who that is either. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Jared Mayo. I don't know who you are. And he said to my buddy, now that I have all this time on my hands, I really want someone to teach me how to fish.
Oh, I thought he was a football player. Played for the Patriots.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Raised my hand like I needed to answer a question in 3rd grade.
Right.
I volunteer as tribute.
I will take you out anytime.
Hey, I volunteer as tribute.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's teaching people how to fish, and like especially teaching youth. Like, and you guys know, like, I hate kids. Like, I'm not but you know,
you're a good teacher though.
When you get somebody who is willing to learn and is interested in the subject matter, it's totally different. You know. So, you know, when you get a kid that's like really into fishing and they want to learn how to do something and they see you do something, dude, the kids that I had on my boat, we were in Broad Creek, and we were fishing those docks, and you know, the floating docks, you know, just inside the mouth, just inside the no wake. And I'm only making like a cast at like each dock in places like I know that their casting ability wasn't fantastic. So like they're casting around the docks, and like I would just like I'd just skip my bait, you know, like in like a hole, you know, like this big, and I skip under one dock and I catch a 4-pound smallmouth. And those I swear to you, those kids were happier that I caught that fish than I was.
That's pretty cool.
Just freaking out. Josh says I pull up to kids all the time and throw them baits.
Yep.
I'd love to start taking more kids out. Honestly, we need more of that in the industry.
Yeah,
we need
I'm
more
the
of
same
that
way.
in the industry to
You know,
keep these kids hooked and get them to come back to bass fishing.
When I talk to somebody who like I know is into fishing, like you know, like you know, me and Kevin, when we were down at Lake Anna, you know, Mark's son was there, and you know, Mark fishes all the time, but like, you know, you could tell like his son was really into fishing, and you know, so like Kevin gave him some baits, and you know, I was like, well, you know, I had that giant tub, like my giant tub of extra baits, and I'm like, hey man, you know, what's your favorite way to catch fish? And he's like, I like, you know, I really like catching them on crankbait. Like walked over, took out 2 boxes of crankbaits, and be like, here, pick out some. You know, like,
that's pretty awesome.
Whatever you know, take whatever you want. He's got good taste. We'll just put it that way.
I gotcha. That's cool though. It's awesome.
He was like, oh, I really like this one, and he picks one. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You can have it.
John,
like,
are you guys down there on Santee?
He's like, what kind of crankbait is this? I was like, oh yeah, that's a waterwood. And he's like, how much do these cost? I'm like, yeah, they're $30 a piece.
Damn. Robbed you blind.
No, I mean, it was no big deal, you know. Like I was never, you know, it's in my extra tackle. I'm never gonna throw it. Like it's gonna sit in that box for 5 years.
Right.
You know, I may pick it out like one time, but you catching them down there, John?
Yeah, how's it going down there, John? I know Scuba Steve caught a 5.7 today.
Nice.
I know that much.
I know Andrew Blair has been killing them on Santee like the last couple weekends.
Yeah. Blair's been on them.
And that little lake that he's been fishing, that he fishes, you know, during the week, he's been killing them on there too.
Did you see the video where he was just floating over top of an alligator?
Yeah.
I was like, in a kayak. Like, I'm like, that right there is why I don't fish in a kayak.
Does Murray fish the same way as Santee, or is it like completely different? Is it? Okay. Yeah. They're close to each other, though, right?
Murray's a herring lake.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. But they're close to each other, right? Is Murray like a highland reservoir?
It's like a lowland reservoir.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Ish. Like low, maybe a little highlandy, but it's a herring lake. I mean, it's deep and clear.
You shut up, Jason.
Murray's deep and clear. A lot of offshore herring stuff. Really cool. It's one of my. That's probably. I mean, that's in like my top 3 bodies of water in the country.
He's not scuba anymore. If Little John, Big John, and Steve are watching,
if you want to run,
not scuba.
You ever want to go
Steve
down there
anymore.
sometime? Like I'll go down there.
Sure.
Like I haven't been down there. It's been like 12 years since I've been down there.
I've never fished it. I've only driven over it.
A lot of topwater fishing. A lot of topwater fishing. A lot of fluking.
Ooh. Okay. I like that.
But it's not like fluking around here. You're fluking in 25 feet of water.
Interesting.
Because they're just out. I mean, most of the fish there are pelagic, and so they're just out chasing.
Is it spots? A lot of spots.
Keep after
really?
it, buddy. Cast after cast after cast. The more cast you get out
ones.
there, the more chance you got of catching a fish, man. You just got to stay after it.
Big ones too.
Yeah.
I think in the BPT that was there, and they were catching a lot of them shallow. Springtime, going into spawn. I think the first day Jeff Sprague caught like an 8.8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, what was the water temp when you were down in the Potomac the other day?
53.
That's warm enough to do something.
There's no grass anywhere.
I feel like it's just the same thing with the GP
Not
right
that I
now. You're
found.
running 52, 53.
And I'm sure you probably checked the well-known areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah, there was no grass that I could find when I was down there. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I didn't touch any of those areas Saturday, but
I mean, 2 weeks. It's been warm the last 2 weeks, so it could have done something.
Well, we had some cold nights tonight. Like the other day, I woke up, it was 28 degrees in the morning.
Yeah.
water temperature dropped quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it dropped. I was talking to Ron today. He said it dropped like 4 or 5 degrees.
Muddy?
Per bay.
If it dropped 4 or 5 degrees, it's down
Potomac?
to 40s again.
Yeah. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
it was good. A good water clarity down there. I mean, it was typical like Potomac dirty.
Right. Yeah.
The farther north we went, the cleaner it got.
Yeah, it usually does.
So I mean, I fished from Mattawoman to DC. So I mean, I've kind of hit a lot of areas in there. But
What kind of glide did you throw around, Lil John? That's pretty cool.
Ooh.
Glide baits are fun to throw.
yeah, I need to put my glide baits back in the boat.
There's a time and a place for them.
When I have my boat.
They are a good tool.
I want to spend some more time throwing that ABS trick shad. That's a really good ABS bait. I really like that. I need
Mike,
to get
Mike Buca, no matter what, whether it's the resin pours or the ABS baits, Mike Buca just has phenomenal baits that really, really do match the hatch with what we kind of have around.
I need to get Jim to send me one of those 5-inch trick shads.
Right.
Oh yeah, the 5-inch ones. Yeah,
Since they're like apparently impossible to get.
He sent me the 6. I've continually thrown it. I haven't nailed anything on it yet. I've missed a couple on it, but I keep on throwing that 6-inch.
I really want to get my hands on one of those 5-inch ones.
I throw the 7 a lot too. I really like that 7.
I know you keep telling me it's great. I need to try it, but I cannot get them.
You know why? Because every time that Mike drops the trick shads, we're live on Boston Beer Radio, and we don't have time to.
That is true.
Yeah,
That is true.
I miss every bait drop. I miss all the KGB drops.
Oh,
I don't.
that just scratched my butthole.
I don't want to buy it.
Gross.
I don't want to buy a KGB though.
The Chad Chads or the resin Chad Chads, they're
Yeah.
nice.
He doesn't make
It's
those
a
anymore.
nice bait. It's a different style.
Yeah,
It is a different style.
calls it something else. I can't remember what he calls it now.
It's still the Chad Chad. It's a different.
He's not calling it the Chad Shad because he wanted to separate from the Spro. So he's calling it something else.
Right.
4 minutes they're gone. I know. That's why I'm saying, you gotta hook me up, man.
You gotta hit up Jam, or you gotta hit up Mike Buca himself and just tell him to hold one for you.
Right. Like I need to throw a glide bait at some smallmouth. I did see George up on the Susquehanna catching.
Dude, the smallmouth love glide baits.
Apparently they love mag drafts too,
Oh yeah.
and I have a lot of mag drafts.
They're pretty aggressive eaters when you get around.
I do love my
The right
harnessed.
bite.
That's the harnessed mag drafts is like my favorite. The real Chad Shad is the only other glide I'll throw.
I freaking love the KGB Chad Chad, the OGs. They are phenomenal freaking baits.
The Spro Chad Shad is actually the one glide bait that I've had the most success with.
The Spro Chad Chad is also a very, very nice glide bait for, what is it, the AB?
Yeah, ABS.
Yeah, the
Only
ABS.
one I've really thrown was the
Which is
Storm
it's a
Arashi.
plastic mold instead of a pour.
I like the Arashi for what it is and for the
A
price.
lot
point.
of people, so I've heard a couple of pros talk about the Arashi, and it apparently is a very, very good bait. Carl Jacobson was throwing it in the Classic.
Really? Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's like $40, and the colors are pretty good. So, I mean,
Jim says, "Let me see what I can do. I'll call Monday and see if I can bake and give up my third born."
nice.
But they have a lot. Mike has a lot of great baits out on the market right now. KGB has a lot of good baits out on the market right now. The other baits that I will say glides that I have. Well, okay, Fish Everything too. Fish Everything, Victor Depps.
Yep, he was at the
7-inch glides. They are
So he was at the Classic
with Oliver. They are phenomenal glide baits, and so I have Buca with the trick shads.
I saw him rock paper scissor a kid for one of his glide baits.
Did he win?
Really?
And the kid lost, and he gave it to him anyway.
Nice.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
that's good.
pretty
Good
cool.
for Vic. But Fish Everything, Mike Buca's trick shads, the KGB baits, clutch baits.
So I did see.
I like the clutch baits. They have the Clutch Eco that you've seen before. Is a really nice bait, and then they also have
The Darter.
Their full size. The Darter, which Mike Powers gave me one of their darters, and I've used that. It's a little bit harder to work.
Yeah.
But it has, when you learn how to work that bait, it's very nice. But their
I
other
know a lot of
baits
good
are
things
also
about that.
just
I
phenomenal.
did see.
So they have the Boss, and then they have the Baby Boss.
I did. Jim said, wait, there's more shit coming out from Mike, and so at the Classic he had a 14-foot diver crankdown.
Oh yeah.
It had this thing had a lip like this big on it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much that thing pulls.
Dude,
that's crazy.
Brentley Grady with the
be
donut
like-
shad has a 20+ foot crankdown right now.
It's got to be. I feel like that's like putting like two 10XDs on your line at one time.
You have to throw that with a broomstick.
I mean, you got to throw a 10XD with a broomstick, so I'm kind of used to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it probably weighs a little more than a 10XD. 10XD is like one and like almost 2 ounces.
I think that is one, obviously, why Buca and the Trick Shad is my favorite company, because Mike is constantly innovating and making
Coming up with
new
new
things. And one of the things that I respect the most about the guy is, instead of just making new baits that he could sell for $200, he decided to go to that plastic mold bait that was more readily available through the Booker brand for people that just want to get into throwing glide baits at a $40 to $50 price point.
Dude, I picked
That's
one of those
phenomenal.
up. Dude, that is one of the best action like in a bait that I've witnessed.
Yeah.
From the resin side to the ABS side, it just has such a good action.
John says Scuba almost went for a dive after he broke my rod.
I feel like Scuba would break you in half if you really wanted to.
Mark Alicki in the house. What's up, Mark? My buddy Mark with MG General Services. He's based out of Cecil County and Harford County. Does work all over the place. Bathrooms, kitchens, house remodels, decks. He does it all. Hit him up.
Nice. So, yeah, a lot of stuff out there. A lot of new baits coming out. A lot of something that you've talked about a lot in the past. Lee Livesey was throwing a pink chatterbait in the Classic. That's what he caught most of his fish on.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
He was throwing the Morning Dawn jackhammer.
I have a couple of those.
So
God, that's a sexy color.
It
with
is.
a bubblegum pink trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of really interesting stuff came out. Came out of the Classic. Like people showed off. I thought that one was probably the coolest one of them. The most off the wall. So they are now sold out on Tackle
Reaction
House.
Innovations has a pretty nice color that matches the Morning Dawn.
So does Tactical Fishing Company.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Tactical Fishing Company has some phenomenal colors and baits that look good on the back of chatterbaits.
I think I'm going to go look around
Spinnerbaits.
tomorrow for if there's any fish that moved up for spawning. I mean, 53?
No.
There's going to be some, well, they're not moved up, but they might be in the areas. There could be some fish in those areas.
What rod did he break, John? What was it?
They're hardcore pre-spawn.
Really?
They're not up in they're not close to the spawning area.
It surprises me because I know how meticulous and careful Scuba is. So,
We caught a lot of fish last weekend
and shit happens. So get over it. I'm sorry,
for a Potomac trip anyway.
dude. I stepped on my Megabass Yuga the other day.
Did it break?
Yeah, don't do that.
No, but it bent two of the freaking eyelets flat.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Heat them up and bend them back.
Dan says don't sleep on pink.
He said my ugly stick.
I'm not
Oh.
I don't really have any confidence in like a pink moving bait, but You know, like I throw a bubble gum and methylate worm all the time.
They're just,
You know?
it's just a killer spring color, man. Killer spring color. I highly, I believe in throwing that, like the Violent Viper, your reds and your oranges, your chartreuse. They're just really good colors for this time of the year. And I think those colors are good this time of the year because you go from cold, the water's warming up. I think the crayfish are starting to turn different colors from that darker color. They start to lighten up a little bit.
So
there's a lot of different variables.
I don't know. You know, I think like your pinks are more of like a shad type thing, and it makes sense because you look at like a gizzard shad. Like a gizzard shad's got like pink hues into it.
When you look at them in the light, right, and they kind of gleam
A lot
off,
of pink, a lot of pink hues, like that reddish hue to it.
Yeah.
The red crankbaits, like I have no idea why they work.
Dude, the freaking
I've never seen
red.
I've never seen a
one
bright
of the
red
best days I've
crankfish.
ever had was on a red spinnerbait in the springtime. The Mega
Dude,
Bass,
I've got-
Mega Bass SV9 and the
have no
Violet
idea why it
Viper
works.
Cupper just killing it.
Jason says he may have caught like 8 fish in red in his life.
But how often have you thrown the red?
I have caught
It's
so
springtime
many.
specific.
Dude, a red rattle trap in the springtime. Like
Deadly.
I've caught. I mean,
Deadly.
hundreds and hundreds of fish on a red rattle trap.
He said if it was my Dobbins, I would
Red
have put
square
him in
bills.
gator infested waters.
You know, red square bills. You know, I've caught hundreds of fish on red square bills. Yeah, it's insane how many fish I've caught, and I have no idea why. I tend to think of like the Gerald Swindle explanation of it, where you know those fish, you know, they're used to that lower light, they're in deeper water, they move up shallow, the light's bright, they can see it easily, and they eat it, and that's kind of why it only works for a limited period of time.
Yeah.
I agree. Jim says we see pink colors. They see a different color spectrum than we do. I do agree with that, but I think that whatever they see in the pink and the reds and the orange at this time of the year is good. I don't know. I believe in it. I've seen it personally where, like, Jason says he's only ever caught 8 fish on red in his whole life. I caught 12 fish in a day, 15 fish in a day.
Oh yeah,
red before.
I've had. I mean,
So
we've had
just
days
like-
on the days on the Potomac. I mean, 20, 30 fish easy.
Yeah. And then if you were to go
Just
to
throw
a
a red
shad,
rat trap.
you're not getting hit on it. So like that,
Right,
definitely.
like a chili crawl red eye shad for
Yeah.
some reason. It's stupid. It's it's bright orange. It doesn't make any sense. So Jason, when you go on that Paul Batters tour, let's do it when I get my trolling motor fixed. We'll go out like the end of April and we'll throw nothing but red crankbaits.
The Batters tour. We got to get Starlink so we can just put that shit on the boat and then go out there and live stream.
I can just live stream from my phone.
Yeah.
I can live stream on TikTok now.
If you don't have good service and stuff, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't, but they sent me a notification a few weeks ago saying, or like a month ago saying,
You
hey,
reached
you
the
can-
1,000 followers or whatever. that
No,
you
like
can do.
I got like 300 followers, something like that.
Did we get that notification?
No,
Damn it. Damn it.
because I would love to do it on TikTok.
That would be great.
I do believe that we can do that on our thingy here.
They haven't made history this night.
Let me turn this down there.
Baseball.
Yeah.
But
Boom.
yeah, that's sick. That's really cool. We gotta figure that
Yeah,
out.
we do need to figure that
Yeah.
out.
I need to
figure
get.
that out.
Yeah, I want to.
Before Donald Trump decides to ban it again.
Also, think of the color water that red. See, that's the thing though. It doesn't matter what the color is. It can be dirty as hell or it can be clean. I've caught them. I mean, I've hammered them on red crankbaits at the shit plant on the Potomac in like the cleanest water that you will ever see on the Potomac.
I do think it really is just that specific red color this time of the year. I don't know why. It just works. It just works.
If we
Look
can
on
stream
my
it,
boat right now, you will find 3 different baits in that red color. Right
if people can stream OnlyFans on the move, we should be able to stream fishing.
Valid.
we could do
Tony.
OnlyFans on the move too.
We could do OnlyFans. I don't think we'd make much money.
No, I'll take one.
We could. I thought about starting an OnlyFans and then just like downloading feet pics off of Google.
Yes. Yes.
2 for 2,
Basketball.
3 for
Yeah,
3.
3 for 3.
Not bad.
That is pretty good.
We'll probably
like
never do
that.
that ever again.
There's a giant scratch in the front of that now.
Look at we all just. It's fun.
Yay, go us.
Better than Maryland.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like I said, I don't know what it is about red. It works in clear water. It works in dirty water. It does seem to be better in dirtier water. But like I said, I've went to the shit plant on the Potomac up in Blue Plains. Clean water. Cleaner water as you will get on tidal water. Basically clear water. The red still works. Slam them. I mean, I demolished them one day on a red crankbait up there.
John, you don't know what OnlyFans is. We don't talk about
Don't
that.
judge. Fishing ain't free.
Fishing is not free. Unless you pay for nothing.
Did you ever see that? Have you seen that?
Unless you're some hot chick that wants to go out and learn how to fish.
Have you seen that cartoon on Instagram? The guy is talking. It's like, yeah. My wife, my wife's making a lot of money at her fan shop. Yeah, she's selling fans. Like she started this business called OnlyFans, and she's really making a killing.
Nice.
Jason says Hanson, yes, and you're first.
But something about red crankbait, and I want to take Jason out now.
It's not just red crankbait, red chatterbait too.
Red crankbait, red
Chatterbait,
spinnerbait,
crankbait.
traps.
I haven't. The traps is a big one.
Yeah,
the traps is a big one. I don't throw traps too often, but that for sure. And dude, there is definitely. I have zero red soft plastics, but.
So
yeah,
I tend to throw my red soft plastics, and by red it's more the oranges, pinks. For me, that's more of a post spawn thing. But I am gonna try. I am gonna try throwing some of the like a red floating worm during like this more toward like
I
this.
have like a morning dawn drop shot worm from Robo Worm. Yes.
Like regular morning dawn or
no. It's just kind of similar.
Red frog. We don't talk about red frogs here.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
The morning sunrise one?
The red frog is awesome. I love a red frog.
Okay,
There's one specific
that
red
was the old
frog.
recommendation from GDP.
The red Terminator popping frog is the ultimate red frog. I don't know why, but that's just the one.
The red. So that's a title thing. Those brown frogs, like for some reason,
smoked.
They work here. They work on the Potomac. They work on the Upper Bay. Jason Christie, the year Justin Lucas won the Elite Series, he caught all of his big fish on a sunburn colored booyah pad crasher. Like and that probably has something to do with bait.
Poppin' pad crasher, man, I hate that frog. It's too light.
I've caught so many fish.
It's too light for me. Like I feel like because I'm really aggressive with my popping frogs, so like when I go to pop it, it like skips over the top of the water, and I don't like that.
It.
I know, like some people like to walk it and stuff like that. Like I pop my frog.
That for me is a walking frog. It's not a popping frog.
Right. It is a good walking frog. But like the Spro frog, the Bronze Eye, the Terminator popping
those
frog,
I pop.
They
Like,
pop. You can walk them too, but they pop.
I tend to pop those more. But like if I'm throwing like the popping pad crasher, like I am walking that frog, and it just walks and gives it a little, it just gives it a little bit of spit when it walks.
Yeah.
Which I think is the reason that it's such a good bait.
Yeah.
Because it just has that little, like every time
you swear on that red frog.
I love it.
Every time you walk that
it's the best.
popping pad crasher,
Thing
like
is a monster, dude.
it just spits a little water, out in front of it.
Jim says I offer a free tanning bed on the back of my boat during the summer.
That's hilarious.
Me too, Jim.
Yeah, something about those red baits. But I do want to try. I am going to throw like the old merthiolate worm and like a bubblegum worm. I'm going to try throwing that like on some shallow cover this year during the spawn and see what.
Have you ever seen some of those soft plastics? I think it's might have been from OSP or like Raid or something of that nature. But it literally it looks like an earthworm. It's a soft plastic, but it looks identical to an earthworm.
I have a couple that are like that. Cream makes one. Cream makes a really good one. I mean, it looks exactly like an earthworm.
G-Rat makes a frog?
I did not. They started making a lot of different baits. They're making soft plastics now too.
Interesting. Okay.
Steve Kennedy's working with a lot of that to make them to really like catch them up and get them out of just the glide baits.
That's pretty cool.
I know they just came out with a. He said
They had the Sneaky Pete and
he was working on a minnow for them. He was talking about catching them on a minnow bait. Let's take a look here. Let's see what they got. Baits, G-Ret Baits products. The Pete collection, Sneaky Pete, Papa Pete.
Something just stopped running.
That's their frog. There's the con frog.
That looks very Terminator-like to me.
Looks more live target to me.
It's like Terminator and Live Target.
That looks a very live target.
And I don't like their frogs. Dude,
I love live target frogs.
No, you're right. I was thinking of Lunker Hunt. You're right. Lunker Hunt's garbage. Live Target's all right.
The Lunker Hunt is junk. Live target is fair to middling.
The live
Yeah,
target,
I would say.
the live target.
What is
frogs
this
are
hybrid
badass.
swim jig?
No, they used to have those hard body popping frogs, but they weren't really frogs.
With treble hooks? They were
Yes.
more like walking baits.
Yeah, those weren't bad. I don't even think they make them anymore, do they?
Does this dive? Like, what is this?
They're hollow belly frogs and they're popping frogs. The live target are phenomenal.
I might have to try some of their popping frogs.
Ooh, look at that
I
pearl
caught it.
color.
That's
Man,
what I
we're
would.
talking
So when
about.
we, a couple of years ago, when we were fishing that grass bed in the gunpowder, when I was fishing those reed lines,
they have
like
freaking
that's what I was throwing was that the smaller size live target popping frog, and like it. I mean, they were just demolishing that.
Wow, that glide bait looks just like an S-Waver, dude. It looks really.
It's a Sneaky Pete,
phenomenally better than an S-Waver.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is this a G-Rat glide bait? What is it? I thought it was a Sneaky
So,
Pistol
if-
Pete,
yeah.
Sneaky Pete.
I like the
Papa
price
Pete.
point
I
on that
gotcha.
though. The price point on that's very fair. Go to the
They're one of-
575.
They're one of the best glide baits for the money.
What are the colors? I might grab a couple of those actually. I really might.
They have some pretty good colors.
Yeah, some pretty good colors.
I like
I
those.
do like that sexy shad. The light trout is a killer color around here, believe it or not.
That blush trout looks fucking money.
What's this
Blush
called?
trout.
I'm gonna
That's
make
such
a
a
note
good-
right now.
That blush
G-Rat.
trout is
Oh,
such
you
a
got
good.
bone, gizzard shad, hitch. Let's go over to scene 2. So we are looking at the G-Rat
G-Rat,
glide baits on Tackle Warehouse here.
the Pete series.
And they have the Pistol Pete glide, the Sneaky Pete glide, and the Papa Pete. So you have 5.75, 8-inch, and 10. And these are the colors that they have.
I'm liking that blush trout.
The blush trout looks nice.
That's a super good gizzard shad.
I would throw that AU.
What's the difference?
AYU.
What's the difference? Is it just the size difference? I guess.
Yeah. That John Pearl hitch that's a good one. I like that one.
That's a sick color.
The next one over, that one. I like that. I like that a lot.
Both of these colors are good. This normal hitch, the John Pearl hitch, gizzard shad is fair.
I mean,
midland.
that's.
Bone there. You can never go wrong with throwing a bone glide bait.
I like that pike minnow with that red tail.
That pike minnow is very sick. I like that.
I like that.
That's a good.
The red tail will be good in the spring.
Well, I like that. I just like that red tail because it just gives it.
Honestly,
it gives it
I
that,
really
like,
like this SP
like that
blank too. Like
Yeah,
that's one
just
of
like your
those.
standard bone.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I mean,
Most of honestly, we just went through most of the colors they have are actually good colors
that Guida's sexy shad's pretty nice too.
that are readily available.
Yeah. Select change the size, or go up to the top, and select.
They don't have any of them available. We'll go to the
8-inch. So the 8-inch is $38.99.
That's not bad. That's really not bad.
Yeah, $38.99 for the 8-inch. So
That's-
I guess if you go to the 10-inch, you're looking at the 54 range right there.
Except, yeah, I mean,
Which is really not that bad either.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so the 10-inch is $54.99.
That's what. So Steve Kennedy throws them a lot. That's what he was throwing on Smith Lake last year. I don't know if you saw any of the.
I didn't. No, I didn't watch it.
If you see any of the clips.
We have no idea why this happens. We
So it
have
seems
no
like
idea why this happens.
Every time we go from back to the main camera after a certain period
It's
of time.
like such a sick breakdown too, though. It's
So,
like, okay.
There's some sick video of him catching spotted bass some really sick glide bait eats from that tournament last year.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, stupid, like makes you want to go out and throw a glide bait type beat.
That is pretty awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, I'll have to find them. You'll really like those.
I'll have to check some. Like those are priced. I will probably pick a couple of those up because those look pretty good. I like the way those look.
They're good beats.
You know, Dan, if you're still watching, I haven't actually purchased any plastics from Bait Cave Customs, but they look like they have some really nice plastics.
Well, they're making G-Rad has a jerk bait. They have a thin swim, a little paddle tail swim bait.
We go back here and look at some of the stuff.
The mixer, that's interesting. The Dixie flip. Yeah, they got all kinds of like plastics and stuff now too.
Here's the mixer here. Dixie flip. This is the one that intrigues me the most though.
Read the
G-Rad
description.
baits, the fishing hybrid swim jig.
Fighting fish.
The fighting.
Scroll down to the.
It does look like a beta. That head's just huge.
That
Scroll down
just
to their,
looks crazy.
What's the weight? How much does it weigh?
Scroll down. It'll tell you down.
Does it?
There should be a description. There you go. Up a little farther. 3/4 ounce.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's pretty
Well,
big.
read the descriptions. Let's see if it tells you like the idea behind it. Combining the hard wobbling action of a crankbait with the fish anywhere versatility of a swim jig. So it's got a wobble to it, square bill type wobble.
Okay.
In a swim jig.
In a swim jig.
It's pretty cool. Is assembled with a square bear style fish head, robust skirting material, and a stout 4.0 straight shank jig hook.
I wish they would just make a half-ounce version of it.
Right. Designed to pair up seamlessly with your favorite soft plastic swim baits. The fighting fish harbor is
Well,
a boot tail's gonna like
keep in
block
mind
it though, right?
Keep in mind too that like it could be because of the design of it that it needs to be.
I haven't seen anybody else that makes a swim jig like that.
No,
It's definitely worth trying.
it's definitely different.
I like that color.
I
That
wonder
super
how-
gold color is
I feel
sick.
like the
It's
action-
GP in black.
I feel
That's
like
my
the
favorite color.
I feel like the action
badass.
would like conflict with the boot tail of a swim bait though.
I mean,
Like you'd have to use like a hog farm or spunk shad or
put a
something.
boot tail on a. put a
Jim
boot tail
says
on
he
a
has
chatterbait
3 of
all the
them, and
time.
it's a crankbait.
Jim, what kind of trailer do you throw in this thing? I feel like a straight tail swim bait's got to be the deal.
This pearl shad is kind of sick.
I mean, I throw a boot tail on a chatterbait all the time. People say the same thing about that. Still works.
I mean I did that for a long time. I actually stopped doing it. I started throwing the hog farmers and stuff like that.
I either throw a boot tail or a paddle tail swim bait, or I throw a Yamamoto Seiko.
Yeah, Zako's obviously. Yeah, Zako's awesome.
99% of the time I throw a Seiko. Now.
Yeah, on a chatterbait.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always, for me, it's always a Zaco.
I'd say
I have gone to
90% of the time. The other 10%, 5%.
or the OSP.
I do a
Well, it came off of OSP.
I do a striking menace grub a lot, and then I do a paddle tail.
It's literally killing me right now that I can't remember what this. That's not what it does.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not the Do Live. Strike King came out with this.
Yeah, theirs looks like doo-doo too.
I don't like. What is the point of that? I'm sorry. Like,
They work. I don't know what the point of them is. I have some. I don't have the OSP. I have the G crack.
aren't the OSPs like they're like $20 a pack, aren't they?
Yeah, the G cracks were like 14, something like that. They weren't cheap. It's like $14 for 4 of them.
I can't remember what it is.
They're way too expensive for Tony's taste.
Any of those JDM plastics are too expensive for.
I mean, I do
what
have
they
some
are.
JDM chatterbaits.
I just like for the most part.
See, you did it again.
So it's every time we go from scene 2 back to the main camera.
There's got to be a setting. There's got to be a setting
I
somewhere
have
buried
no
in
idea.
there.
I'm gonna have to dig into it after
So-
this.
For some reason, and you know, it's probably just me and mental, but I like, of the JDM stuff, I like the G-Crack stuff better than the OSP stuff for soft plastics.
Really?
Yeah, I like a lot of the G-Crack stuff.
Yeah.
I just like the way they're built.
Big ass G crack freaking.
Yeah, I gave them to you.
Yeah.
The big.
Well, I
the
bought
bellow-
some too.
I was gonna say I gave you a
Yeah.
pack of the bellows gill.
Yeah, the bellows gills.
I've seen them. I have witnessed them catch fish. I've never caught fish on those, but I really like the bellows shad. The bellows shad's basically the same thing, but not quite as wide of a profile. That's cool. The Nori's baits are really nice too. I like those a lot.
Mr. Snails would throw that.
A 1.5 inch soft plastic.
Just anything that looks like a little millipede or whatever it is, a centipede. He likes the centipede.
Have you seen
the Do Live crawl looks nice.
Have you seen any of the Nori's baits?
No.
Look up Nories. It's another JDM company. See what I don't know what they have here. I like a lot of their.
Why does that worm have a dick?
So it's
interesting, isn't it?
It's so you can Texas rig Nico it.
Oh, that's kind of sick.
Say that
Yeah.
one. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So you can put like a regular
But
like
for
small
$10 for a pack of soft plastic.
small extra wide gap.
I mean, so I like a lot of the jackall worms for a lot of my soft
That's a good
plastic
color
stuff,
right
and
there.
like these are competitively priced with
Yeah.
that, and they're easier to find. I mean,
I really
go
like that.
find some Nico flicks
So
from
these are
jackall. Good
Nori's
luck.
baits that we're talking about. So
How many do you
everybody can
want?
See.
Why you got some?
I got like 7 packs of them at home.
Oh, yeah, I'll take them all. Seriously.
That front flapper is, I like that. I really like that bait. The Cogill, that's another cool bait.
Is that a frog bait?
Nope. I will tell you about it some other time. What was the other? That rock that crawl is
Rock
pretty
crawl.
cool. But yeah, they have some. The Nori's baits are pretty.
I do like
they're
those
pretty-
Goes into
crankbaits.
some cranks too.
Whoa. I like those crankbaits a lot.
They're expensive.
They just look like basic crankbaits.
I mean, they look
They
a lot
have a
like
very specific shape.
the square bill. The second one looks
That
a lot
is
like
definitely
an
different than that. This is the Omega.
I'm talking about the worming crank shot. That looks
That's a
like
good look. I mean,
you know exactly what I'm thinking in my head.
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Right.
that. It looks like an OSP Blitz.
It looks like a rock crawler.
Oh no, not really.
Sure it does.
It looks like
Rock
some of the,
Rider.
it looks
Rock
like some of
Crawler's
the
wide,
Mega stuff that I have.
wide
though.
across the back. Omega Big 62 looks a lot like an evergreen.
It does.
Yeah,
it does
a
look
little
like an evergreen bait.
But yeah, they got some cool stuff. I've been kind of into them. I really like that frog. I just wish it wasn't $17.
Ooh, the spinner baits look good. Are they like finessey type of things?
Yeah,
Are they?
yeah,
And
they're a little
everything
more finessey.
JDM is a very, very
Yeah.
light wire.
Not everything.
That's why most of them. That's why you can't horse these baits.
Yeah, that Nori's NF60 frog I really like, but I just it's $17.
I like,
and I can't bring
I
myself
like
to pay
this one with the
$17 for a frog.
Colorado fellow with the willow blade.
Little tandem.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, it looks
little,
good.
Little tandem action.
Or the
there.
gold and the silver. That's nice.
I don't throw a tandem spinner bait as often anymore.
Ooh, look at that little buzz action.
Yeah, I do like that.
That's sick
I do
right
like that
here.
little
I
double
actually
Colorado.
really like this one.
What kind of colors we got in
dope.
that?
Yeah, that's cool.
What kind of colors we got? Not a whole lot. They only have one.
Yeah, but
color.
you only really need white.
No.
I mean, if you're gonna have one color, white.
If I'm gonna pick one color out of that, it's gonna be this one with the pink in it.
Right.
Y'all stay sleeping on pink.
That's a different bait.
Oh, it is.
Is it?
Oh, it's just
No,
one
it's just
color.
more from Nori's.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
they
just
only have
one.
one color.
Damn.
And I mean that's all that is available in Tackle Warehouse, obviously. So they got 3 colors. In there,
Dude, there's
4
so
colors.
many baits that are available in the JDM market that you will never find over here on Tackle Warehouse. Ever.
Yeah, if I want to look at JDM stuff, I go to like a hookup tackle or something like
Yeah.
that. Yep.
Again,
Every time.
and then all you have to do is click on Streamlabs music and it goes off. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
we're gonna
dude.
have to figure that out.
It's so weird.
Yeah. If I want to look at JDM baits, I definitely go to like hookup tackle.
We
American
are coming
Snake
up to
Bait
our
Company.
9:30 mark though.
Mark's makes great spinner baits.
American Snake Bait.
See,
Co.
I like thinner wire for bass. I don't want thick wire for the most part. I've actually been.
For snakeheads, it's probably much better.
I mean, I'm big on my big mouth lure spinner baits. They work. They catch fish. I've been pretty big on the new Strike King Tour Grade spinner bait.
You never hear from
I've been catching a lot of fish on those. It came out a couple years ago when they redid it. I'm a big fan of that. So that's kind of where my spinnerbait goes. I'm not going to bother going JDM with the spinnerbait because I don't think it matters.
I've seen some of the JDM stuff that I've thrown in the spinnerbait world. They have lighter wires. I have found that where I've thrown some different brands of spinnerbaits like Strike King, some of the Dobbins spinnerbaits that I've thrown. There are some subtle differences that I've noticed, and one of the differences is getting those just like a chatterbait, just like the jackhammer compared to the original Z-Man. Getting those blades to spin and know that they're spinning as soon as you start reeling in on that crank.
See, none of
it makes a big difference to me, and I think the JDMs are better at that.
I'm very particular about the spinner baits I buy and the components that they use. So and that's all in the swivel that they use on the blade, right? So as long as they're using like a high quality ball bearing swivel on it, I don't think you're not going to run into that issue. The thinner wire definitely makes a difference. I do agree with that.
Sensitivity.
You get a little more vibration out of them with that thinner wire.
The keeper makes a big difference on a spinnerbait. You have to have a decent keeper on a freaking spinnerbait.
I glue everything on. So anyway, so
Right.
it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's a chatterbait, spinnerbait, jig, anything that gets a trailer, it gets super glued on.
I like War Eagle too. I know you hate War Eagle.
I can't stand War Eagle.
I love War Eagle.
I do like War
has been a
Eagle.
freaking fantastic.
They rust.
They do rust.
I gotta say, they rust their freaking asses off.
They rust the
They do rust a lot.
The swivels corrode
But they're
and stop
cheap.
working.
This is all true.
I would rather pay $2.
They have a good buzz bait too.
Here's the thing: you
But I can pay
can't take them
$2.
out of the pack.
I can pay $2 more and get a spinnerbait that lasts 2 years instead of 1.
I have no
just a couple
problems
dollars
with them
more,
lasting. It's just you have to dry them off before you put them away, or they're going to rust.
Even drying them off.
I think their
My
wire
spinnerbaits
is
hang.
actually pretty heavy in my
It
opinion.
is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, all my spinnerbaits don't go in a box. My spinnerbaits hang. So they're always dry. They always dry out. And I have 2 brands of spinnerbaits that always rust, like consistently, and War Eagle is one of them. The other one I don't care if they rust because they just murder fish. We don't talk about this.
So, all right. Well, we're at our 9:30.
Yeah,
mark.
I gotta get up. I gotta
we're
get up
getting
at
there.
4 o'clock.
So we were actually really debating on being on here for an hour tonight, and
always happens.
We're at that 2.5 hour mark.
Happens every week.
Tony, you and Miles should just show up tomorrow and fish.
I don't think Miles is in any shape to be fishing tomorrow.
Was he hammered?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Way to go, Miles.
Right. Good for
All
him.
right.
So, all right, y'all. We're out for the night. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you guys. Hookers knocking Chad. Yes. Love you guys.